Hang in there. This gloom is going to be kicking out, but not this afternoon. It's cloudy. It's chilly. Still a couple of showers, a little bit of drizzle. 45. That's it for the high. Tonight, rain's gone, but it's cloudy. It's cold. 38. Friday, clouds to start. Going partly sunny as we get into Friday afternoon. It's windy. 59. 60. Still a chance of a frost and a freeze across the area Saturday night into Sunday morning. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Right here, right now.
I was very disturbed during the debate when candidate Biden lied to the American people about the laptop. He's squarely confronted with the laptop, and he suggested that it was Russian disinformation and pointed to the letter written by some intelligence people. It was baseless.
97.1 FM Talk.
And now's the time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it.
Right here, right now.
I'm Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group. I'm proud to say we are a family business. Through innovative financial tools, my nephew Bob and I are committed to making sure your retirement nest egg is kept safe from market declines. As a matter of fact, we have never lost a dime of our clients' money, and we won't lose any of yours either.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, and the secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. As we look ahead at the likelihood of increasing volatility in the market, it's important that you protect your nest egg from market losses, as that's the engine that drives your retirement income.
Our family would like to help your family retire comfortably and keep your retirement safe and secure. Call us now for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 36 years. Call us now, 314-993-9494. or online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to ensure you maximize your investment. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, Board and Batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. They also carry Anderson and Marvin windows and doors. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today. SidingExpress.com.
Looking to sell your house without all the hassle and pricey repair costs? Great, because Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis loves buying fix-up homes in any condition, as is, no fees and no commissions. Call 314-782-8000, and Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis will give you a cash offer right now. No strings attached. We buy inherited houses, divorce houses, trashed houses, even those my tenant won't pay rent houses. Call Chris at 314-782-8000 and find out how easy it is to work with us. That's 314-782-8000. Do you think your home will be difficult to sell? Easy. Our team will provide you with personal guidance through our short and simple process to turn your house into a pile of gold. Just call Chris at 314-782-8000. 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And let Chris worry about everything.
File in a way that fits you and get the refund you deserve, guaranteed. Jackson Hewitt Tax Pros can help you find thousands worth of new tax credits. Schedule an appointment with one of our tax pros and learn more at jacksonhewitt.com.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
If you're retiring soon, join us Saturday at 9:30 a.m. for your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Listen on the Odyssey app and rewind whenever you'd like. Or catch up on entire shows within 24 hours of air. 97.1 FM Talk. Experience the rewind with the Odyssey app. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock, Riverviews, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. Visit GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome into the Annie Frey Show. Glad that you are here with us here on a Thursday afternoon. Hannah is behind the board. Welcome back, Hannah. Glad that you're in here with us.
Yes, thank you.
Brad is off today, and Ryan Wiggins takes his rightful place back at 12:45 in Wiggins America. Have you heard that? If Ryan Wiggins heard Brad Range's takeover of Wiggins America?
I have not. I saw Ryan tweeted yesterday, and he was like, "What?" And but I don't know if he knows exactly what happened.
We will check in with Ryan at 12:45 and hear what he has to say.
Yes.
See if he I don't know, what does D to the C always say? Brings the smoke back to Wiggins America, whatever it might be. We do have a full show for you today at 2:00. Our time, we are supposed to hear from President Biden. He's supposed to be giving a press conference as he is meeting with other major world leaders regarding the situation in Ukraine and what Russia has been doing and what needs to be done to stop Russia. And what is President Biden going to say? I don't know, but we're going to listen to it at 2:00. And a reminder, if you join us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel, the Annie Frey Show Facebook page, among the other places that we stream at 2:00, we're going to run that so you can watch it with us as well as you listen to it here on the air. Also, we have at 12:25, Jack Posobiec is going to join us. He is the senior editor at Human Events, and he has that podcast, Human Events Daily. He has seen Hunter Biden's laptop. We had him on the show when the laptop first made the scene, and he managed to see it. I think the way I understand it is from Rudy Giuliani, who is the person who was given this laptop when the FBI was not interested in it. So we're going to hear from Jack Posobiec. We're going to hear about what's on the laptop, and we're going to talk to Jack about how this laptop involves Joe Biden, if it does involve Joe Biden. Because, if you get a salacious trove of information on somebody who's on the other side of the aisle and you want to trash their lives for really horrible decisions they're making that they chose to document. I mean, if you're just trying to trash an individual citizen, I'm not really for that. There's a lot of people in this industry that would probably love to swim through that and expose everything. I want all the crimes to be exposed, and I want the people who are committing those crimes to be held accountable for them. And if that includes the president of the United States, and if while the conversation that is happening on the global stage involves the words World War III and nuclear war, if somehow or another there is a compromised relationship between the United States and any of these countries in our leadership, we need to know about it. And maybe there isn't. That's the implication that's being put out there by people who love the Hunter Biden laptop story, who have been talking about it for a long time. That's the implication that's out there. And I'm interested in the facts. And since Jack Posobiec has seen that laptop, we're going to ask him about that at 12:25. So you're going to stick around for about 15 minutes for that. Tyrus joins us at 1:00. Last night, Tyrus was on Gutfeld, and they talked a lot about the Ketanji Brown Jackson can't define what a woman is because she's not a biologist. And I mean, there's not really much left to be said about how absolutely absurd it is that Judge Jackson was not willing to give a definition of what it means to be a woman. It's not that we're making a big deal about it in the aftermath of her answer because we disagreed with her answer. She couldn't even come up with one. And if she can't come up with an answer for something that is one of the most contested conversations in the public eye right now, and she wants to be a Supreme Court justice, isn't the whole thing to settle debates? Isn't the whole thing to be able to look at things from an objective view and make a decision based on the information at hand? And does she not have enough information about what it means to be a woman? and, put their fists down and speak on this issue and lead on this issue? Do men have a role in this issue? Because honestly, in the national political conversation that has surrounded women's issues, which how do you have a woman's issue if we don't even know what a woman is or if we can't describe what a woman is? And don't forget, I certainly have my opinion of what a woman is, but why are we not having arguments, discussions, or debates over what a woman is, where I give you what I think and you say, no, Annie, I disagree with that. This is what I think. And then we debate it. And then maybe we agree at the end. We probably don't agree at the end. And we go about our day. Instead, what happens is the woman who wants to be on the Supreme Court and has had a career that has led her to this moment is honestly too intimidated by the question, what is a woman, that she's not willing to answer it on the record. I just think to myself, going back, let's rewind the tape 25 years. And I don't know who was being appointed to the Supreme Court 25 years ago. What kind of questions were they asked? What kind of, good grief. All you legal minds speak is Latin, and I don't understand any of it. And I'm sitting here going, okay, that sounds really smart. I have no idea what you're talking about. But you keep throwing out these terms and, what is your judicial philosophy and so on and so forth. And I'm listening and I'm following along, and I feel like, I can kind of, it's kind of like when I watch hockey. I'm very interested in supporting the St. Louis Blues, and I've watched enough games to understand what the goal is, and I know how difficult it is. I completely respect how difficult it is, but I don't really understand the ins and outs and the strategy behind it because I'm just not that well versed in it. It's the same thing when I'm watching the legal questions often that take place between the lawyers on that Judiciary Committee and the nominee, and they're talking in all these terms that are kind of above my pay grade. This has been going on for decades and decades and decades and decades. And this week, the question was, what is a woman? And it was unanswerable. That's crazy to me. I'm like, oh, that's one that I do know. Can I answer that question? Anybody? Me? Wait, am I too dumb to answer that question or too smart to answer that question? I don't even know. Here's what we understand, what we need to understand right now about that question specifically. And I will reiterate, I have not yet given you, I don't even know that I will, because I think it's kind of absurd that I would have to, my definition of what a woman is. I know I'm a woman. Hannah, you feeling, man, I feel like a woman today?
Yep.
We'll ask Ryan the same question at 12:45.
He'll like it if it's Shania Twain.
He will. And, stay tuned at 12:45. We've got a good welcome back song for him. So here's what you need to understand about that question and why that question is so difficult. Because the left, for the last 15 plus years, has told people that their human value comes from a box you check on a medical form. That that your worth as an individual is determined by the color of your skin. And if your skin is this shade, you just need to know that in society you are worth less than other people. But if your skin is that shade, you need to understand how much access to privilege that you have that other people don't. Your worth as a human to these people is based on something you have zero control over. Your worth as a human is based on your gender. And if you are an oppressed gender, then you need to understand what that means for you in society. And if you don't understand already that your gender has made you not somebody who's privileged, but if you don't understand, if you're not going through life like your gender is somehow making you a victim, you need to understand your privilege over here in this arena. You're a woman and you don't feel oppressed. Well, what color is your skin? Oh, I see. You're white. Well, maybe you don't feel like a victim as a woman because you're white now. So then you go down that path. Everything that the left has done to politics, which is downstream from culture, the culture changes, the politics follow. Everything that the left has done has made your intrinsic value as a human being based on a box you check on a medical form. And you know that's not right. And I know that's not right. And I honestly believe that there are a lot of people who have voted Democrat more often than they voted Republican who know that that's what the left has been doing, and they're not there for it. That doesn't mean that they're all of a sudden, signing up for trickle-down economics and, build the wall and so on and so forth. I don't think that that's what that means, but I do believe wholeheartedly that people, especially after 2 years of a pandemic in this country, where we were shut out from seeing our loved ones, where many of us had to bury loved ones almost in secret, in private, without being able to be next to other human beings who were valuable to us because somebody else told us what we had to do, and we gave up our freedom for that promise of security. Another hallmark of the Democratic left, the far left. If our value as human beings is going to come from something we have no control over, guess what? We have no obligation to do good, to be kind, to be caring, to be compassionate, because none of that matters. If you're a white man in today's world, there's no amount of good that you can do to compensate for your whiteness or your maleness. That's what they want you to understand, because guess what? You cannot change the fact that you're white or you're male. I cannot change the fact that I'm white or suburban or Midwestern. That is who I am. That's where I'm from. That's what I was born into. And if it cannot be changed, then it can't be fixed. And if it can't be fixed, then it's a problem that always needs a savior, and that savior is always more government. And if the savior can never truly fix the problem, but can always point to the victims and make sure that those victims understand you're disadvantaged. You've been victimized. Those people over there, they've oppressed you. Look what those people over there have done. I'm going to fight for you. You can always fight, but you're never going to change what people actually are. If you want to make a difference in the world, you have to change hearts. And then after you change hearts, then you change minds. That's what you have to invest your time and your effort in if you truly want to make a difference. And if they're not looking to change hearts and minds, if they're only trying to push the 2 sides, the 3 sides, the 10 sides away from one another, then they're not interested in changing hearts and minds. All they're interested in doing is being the person in the middle who will remind you that those people over there, they're your oppressors. And as long as that reminder stays, and as long as we remain divided, they're still needed. And then, when World War III conversations begin to be a daily norm, how in the world are we supposed to unify? How in the world are we supposed to come together for a common goal? We've been told we have none. We've been told there's nothing that those people over there who want to oppress you, we've been told there's nothing that those people have in their lives that is the same as what we have in lives. And because of that, they're the privileged and we are the oppressed. The more divided we are, the more power they will continue to have. And they want to remind you every single day of a problem that cannot be solved. And they stay in power. I think that the world is waking up to that. And I'm looking forward to talking to Tyrus about that at 1:10. Because when he says that women are under attack, he's right. Who's going to stand up for these women? Women can stand up for it, whatever those are, whatever women are. Men need to do it too. Stop sitting on the sidelines because somebody has scared you into thinking that women's issues aren't everybody's issues. They're everybody's issues. It's 12:22 right now. You can donate your car to Goodwill and get 2022 Cardinal tickets at mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Cardinals. We come back. Jack Posobiec, who has seen the Hunter laptop. I asked him, I checked with him. I was like, you've seen this, right? We've talked to you about this, right? And he said, yes, unfortunately. We're going to talk to Jack Posobiec about what he has seen with his own eyes when we come back. You're not going to want to miss this. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. Shows that make a difference. Mark Cox, Brian Kilmeade, Annie Frey, Mark Reardon and Dana Lash, Heidi Harris, Wiggins America. Where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
Lakeside Renovation and Design has wonderful products for your home renovation. When you are looking to finally rejuvenate that kitchen, it's probably the one that came with the house when it was built, and you know it's out of date and you want different things in different places. You've had plenty of time to think about that these days. Lakeside Renovation and Design can make that dream come true. Same thing goes with the exterior of your home. James Hardy siding is gorgeous, gorgeous siding that you can put on your home. It's going to really, really remake that look of that house that you love, that you have called a home, and you pair that along with Infinity from Marvin fiberglass window replacements, and you are going to be the hottest house on the block. Lakeside Renovation and Design employs the very best. Their team is top notch. And when you are looking for the best, you're looking for the warranty that proves it and the 0% financing options, you got to go to Lakeside Renovation and Design. 636-978-5000. That's 636-978-5000. Online at lakesidерenovationanddesign.com.
When Richard Irvin decided to take on Pritzker for governor, he wasn't following a whim. He was answering a long familiar call to duty. Irvin joined the Army out of high school, served in Desert Storm, decorated for bravery. Surviving a brush with death in a dangerous war zone, Richard dedicated his life to service because he loves his country and knows how fragile freedom and security are. As a prosecutor, Irvin put thugs behind bars, drug dealers, gangbangers, 1,000 convictions, hired more cops, and cleaned up crime as mayor, balanced budgets, passed property tax relief. When riotous looters came to town, Irvin shut them down. He knows we'll lose the country he fought for if the radical woke mob takes control. Irvin says all lives matter, that schools shouldn't teach kids to be ashamed of their color or country, that we'll take our state back if we have strong, service-minded leadership. And that's Richard Irvin, our next governor, paid for by Irvin for Illinois.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Home warranty. I know, right? Buying coverage for appliances, your heater and AC, etc., from a company that hopes you never ever have a claim or call. Let me introduce you to a real home warranty company, the kind that actually wants to help you. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. Upkeep visit your home 4 times a year to maintain your appliances and equipment. You will never get a lack of maintenance denial because Upkeep does the maintenance. Also nice, Upkeep assigns you one point person to help you. You won't be passed around like an office hot potato, and you won't get subcontractors. Upkeep does all their work, so there's no blame game. Just experts helping you. Visit upkeepstl.com today and type in 971 for $100 off. Don't be denied. Instead, be relieved. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance, 636-387-7331.
Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep, and you'll have a happy home.
There's a long black train.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Feeding off the souls that are lost and crying. Rails of sin.
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Brother, for that long black train. Look to the heavens, you can look to the sky.
How would you tell you about the threat of chemical warfare right now? That Russia would use chemical weapons. How high is that threat?
I think it's a real threat.
So that's the president standing by a helicopter. Man, we used to have Trump helicopter press conferences all the time. If Trump was near cameras and microphones, he was talking, and he usually gave his best clips underneath really noisy helicopters. But saying he was asked about the usage of chemical weapons from Russia, and he said, I think it's a real threat. We will be covering at 2:00 this afternoon the press conference from the president based on what the conclusion he's come to there with the world leaders, and we'll find out what he has to say. But until then, I want to get to our friend Jack Posobiec, who joins us right now with Human Events. Check out his podcast. It's must hear stuff. Jack, welcome back to the show. Great to have you here.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on again.
Of course. Before I get to talking to you about Hunter's laptop, I'm curious about your thoughts about the president's excursion overseas and what you hope to hear, but more likely expect to hear this afternoon from the president.
Well, to be honest, what strikes me so much is the lack of interest really in the United States about it. I mean, he's got a Supreme Court nomination that's in the middle of very intense hearings. There's an active war going on in Eastern Europe, and yet it seems to be that he's completely faded. He's on this sort of farewell tour, this, good old boy trip to Brussels, and yet he's making no news. There's no headlines. It's almost like a complete non-event.
Yeah, I do. It's almost like you don't want to look. Like, I have to cover this for a living, but I'm kind of worried. It's like I'm worried about what he's going to say, how he's going to handle it, the things that are going to fall out of his mouth. And it's almost like a child. If I put my hands over my ears and I don't hear it, maybe it doesn't happen. I don't know if that's what everybody else is doing, but I don't have confidence in his ability to go over there and lead.
Situations, Annie, where we know that when Biden does these press conferences, that he will constantly, put his foot in his mouth, and then the White House has to come out and put out an official statement, quote unquote, cleaning up, whatever it is that he said. And so people have learned at this point to just kind of tune him out and, that's just old Joe. And he says these things, but he's not really, it doesn't seem to be the one who's actually in charge.
Well, you've listed a couple other things that are going on in the world right now. I mean, there's not really anywhere that this administration can pivot and really champion anything. Nothing is going well right now. But Jack, you've seen Hunter Biden's laptop. When did you first get to look at the contents of that?
Yeah, unfortunately, I first had my, first encounter with that laptop, I guess would probably be about October of 2020. Those last couple of weeks of the election cycle, when myself, Raheem Kassam, Steve Bannon, working on the War Room podcast, had obtained copies of the hard drive itself from the original laptop.
So this is October 2020. There's no more pivotal time in our political history here in the last decade than October of 2020, because it was right before an election that people still don't have 100% confidence in. And when that laptop came on the scene, the New York Post reported on it. You saw what was on it, and everybody shut it down. Now we find out, there's some legitimacy to it. What's your concern? I mean, there is what Hunter's, there's awful things out there about Hunter's lifestyle. That in and of itself is bad, but this implicates people around Hunter Biden, potentially including the president of the United States. What do you want Americans to separate from the political drama around this laptop and what we really need to be concerned about in this moment in time?
Well, you are right that there's two tracks in this, and that, certainly there's an extreme amount, a trove of criminal activity, state-level crimes from Hunter Biden that this laptop both seems to show images of, depict images of, and in the text messages between Hunter and other members of the Biden family, as well as other escorts, prostitutes, girls he may have hired, there's a lot of discussion of criminal activity. So all of that, or a majority of that, I would say, would be state-level crimes, and that's why early on this thing was referred to the Newcastle, Delaware state level, just your regular police forces, police departments. But also, when it comes to the political aspects of it, we're seeing stuff that essentially Hunter Biden was the bag man for the Biden family operation. He was the guy. So, Joe Biden was the one, of course, he's the star power, he's the politician. But similar to how many of the oligarchs in Eastern Europe or China operate, you have one person who's kind of the face of the operation, and then the money all lands with other members of the family. And then you would see this in the text messages that whenever they needed something paid for, whenever they would use gift cards or prepaid debit cards and things, and Hunter Biden would purchase those and then distribute them to other members of the family. So the money's coming in from places like Burisma, obviously in Ukraine, so the Ukrainian oligarchs are paying off Hunter. You also see there's tons and tons of money coming in from Bohai and these various investment vehicles going throughout the CCP in China. All that money is going to Hunter as well, and as well as Hunter's uncle, who's Joe's brother. And so you see the money being moved within the family, and also, just in the text messages, lots of course, family drama whenever, money's involved. And let's be frank, they are still an Irish family, and we all know how Irish family drama goes.
So there are these connections that do involve the passage of money in large sums from outside foreign entities into the family. The famous phrase, 10% for the big guy. When people hear that today, what should they know about the big guy? Is that something that was used commonly, or is that a one-time occurrence?
Well, it's not even so much about 10% for the big guy, because the money that Hunter Biden was receiving, it was understood within the family that was not Hunter Biden's independent money that he could choose to do with as he saw fit. And he certainly used great quantities of it, but also that if he was called upon by Jill, by Joe, by other members of the family, that it was his job then to transfer the money over to pay for various things that the family needed as he was so directed. So the way to look at this isn't necessarily that there's Hunter's money and there's Joe's money, it's that it's all the Biden family money.
So let me ask you this. We're speaking with Jack Posobiec, and I see so many people commenting right now about how much they love your insight and your contributions to the conversation on a regular daily basis. Human Events Daily podcast. If you want more of Jack, you should go subscribe to that right now. Last question for you before we let you go, because the president is speaking. We're going to get to that here in just a minute. Is what's going on in the world right now in any way, shape, or form potentially connected to some of the questionable contacts that are exposed through this laptop?
Well, certainly. I think you can draw a direct line from the laptop, from the oligarchs of Ukraine, from the corruption of the Biden family to the issues in the kinetic war that we see today. I mean, you can draw a direct line from that. You can't look at the news today and that's coming into the story in like chapter 15 or starting a movie in the middle of it. You've got to go all the way to the beginning. You've got to look at the prologue. You've got to look at the backstory. And this hard drive and this laptop really is the backstory to all the news that we are seeing today, whether it be Ukraine, whether it be so many things that are going on inside our country. This is how the Biden family operated, and that is what we are seeing the repercussions of now.
Do you see it? Do you see these truths coming into the light? Will that happen?
Well, I think we are. Certainly there's a level of frustration that we had this massive scoop all the way back in October of 2020. And finally, just now, people are starting to scratch the surface of it and saying, hey, look at some of those things that Posobiec and Kassam and Bannon and Giuliani were talking about early on in all of this. Maybe we should have paid attention to that instead of writing it off. Well, at least finally people are at least getting some crumbs of the truth, because quite frankly, this was the largest political scoop to come out as an October surprise in modern history. And yet half the country still believes that it was some kind of Russian disinformation plot.
Why now? I said one question before, but I got to ask, why is this coming out now?
Well, I think it's coming up now because you've got elements within the national security state that are calling on the Biden administration to escalate this war with Russia. You've got people who want to turn it, it's currently a proxy war, right, where the U.S. is propping up the Ukrainian forces. But you've also got elements saying we need more, we need jets, we need missiles, we need potentially this no-fly zone. And I do think you have elements within that national security state which are trying to put pressure on the Biden administration, both internally and externally. That's why you're seeing this laptop come back around.
All right. Well, Jack, thank you for your time. As always, always great to have you on the show. We look forward to doing it again.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Yep. Bye-bye. Jack Posobiec hosts Human Events Daily. It's a wonderful podcast. You should definitely check it out. The president is speaking right now. I think we're just going to go straight to it. Hannah, let's listen into the president as he is speaking after a conference that he had with NATO leaders.
Everyone. To all the press that's here, you must be getting very tired. Anti-armor systems, ammunition, and our weapons are flowing into Ukraine as I speak. And today, I'm announcing the United States is prepared to commit more than $1 billion in humanitarian assistance to help get relief to millions of Ukrainians affected by the war in Ukraine. Many Ukrainian refugees will wish to stay in Europe, closer to their homes. But we've also will welcome 100,000 Ukrainians to the United States with a focus on reuniting families. And we will invest $320 million to bolster democratic resilience and defend human rights in Ukraine and neighboring countries. We're also coordinating with the G7 and the European Union on food security as well as energy security. And I'll have more to say about that tomorrow. We're also announcing new sanctions of more than 400 individuals and entities in alignment with the European Union. More than 300 members of the Duma, oligarchs, and Russian defense companies that fuel the Russian war machine. In addition to the 100,000 U.S. forces now stationed in Europe to defend NATO territory, NATO established, as you already know, 4 new battle groups in Romania, Hungary, Bulgaria, and Slovakia to reinforce the Eastern Front. Putin was banking on NATO being split. My early conversation with him in December and early January was clear to me he didn't think we could sustain this cohesion. NATO has never been more united than it is today. Putin is getting exactly the opposite what he intended to have as a consequence of going into Ukraine. We've built that same unity with the European Union and with the leading democracies of the G7, in the G7. So I want to thank you, and I'll be now happy to take your questions. Since there's so many people out there, been given a list. Now, how about Chris of the Associated Press? First question.
Hi, thank you, Mr. President. So you've warned about the real threat of chemical weapons being used. Have you gathered specific intelligence that suggests that President Putin is deploying these weapons, moving them to position, or considering their use? And would the U.S. or NATO respond with military action if he did use chemical weapons?
You know, on the first question, I can't answer that. I'm not going to give you intelligence data, number one. Number two, we would respond. We would respond if he uses it. The nature of the response would depend on the nature of the use. Josh of Bloomberg.
Perhaps I'll just project, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
If I had your voice, I'd have been elected a lot earlier.
I'll give it a try. He's got a long arm. Thank you. Can you talk to us about 2 things, sir? One, since your conversation with President Xi of China, have you seen any indications of action or lack of action from China that has led you to believe whether they will intervene and help Russia either with the sale of arms or the provision of supplies to support this war in Ukraine? And secondly, can you say whether the conversation today turned to the subject of food shortages and what the U.S. will do to address wheat shortages in particular as a result of this war? Thank you.
On the first question relating to President Xi Jinping of China, I had a very straightforward conversation with Xi now, I guess it's 6 days ago, 7 days ago, in that range. And I made it clear to him, I made no threats, but I made it clear to him that make sure he understood the consequences of him helping Russia, as had been reported and as what it was expected. And I made no threats, but I pointed out the number of American and foreign corporations that left Russia as a consequence of their barbaric behavior. And I indicated that I knew how much he, because we had long discussions in the past about his interest in making sure he had economic relations and economic growth with Europe and the United States, and indicated that he'd be putting himself at significant jeopardy in those aims if in fact he were to move forward. I am not going to comment on any detail about what we know or don't know as a consequence of that conversation. But tomorrow or next Monday that Ursula is having that conference with China, the first, on April 1st. We've had discussions because I think that China understands that its economic future is much more closely tied to the West than it is to Russia. And so I'm hopeful that he does not get engaged. We also did discuss today that there's a need for us to set up, NATO to set up, and the EU to set up a system whereby we have an organization looking at who has violated any of the sanctions and where and when and how they violated them. And that's something we're going to put in train. It's not done yet. So with regard to Xi, I have nothing more to report. With regard to food shortage, yes, we did so talk about food shortages. And it's going to be real. The price of these sanctions is not just imposed upon Russia. It's imposed upon an awful lot of countries as well, including European countries and our country as well. And because both Russia and Ukraine have been the breadbasket of Europe in terms of wheat, for example, just give one example. But we had a long discussion in the G7 with both the United States, which has a significant, the third largest producer of wheat in the world, as well as Canada, which is also a major producer. And we both talked about how we could increase and disseminate more rapidly food shortages. In addition to that, we talked about urging all the European countries and everyone else to end trade restrictions on sending limitations on sending food abroad. And so we are in the process of working out with our European friends what it would take to help alleviate the concerns relative to food shortages. We also talked about a significant major U.S. investment, among others, in terms of providing for the need for humanitarian assistance, including food, as we move forward. Tarina of the Wall Street Journal. Watch out, you don't get hit in the head there now.
Mr. President, in your view, does President Zelensky need to cede any Ukrainian territory in order to gain a ceasefire with Russia, or is that completely off the table? And then also, do you think that Russia needs to be removed from the G20?
On the latter point, my answer is yes. That depends on the G20. That was raised today, and I raised the possibility if that can't be done, if Indonesia and others do not agree, then we should, in my view, ask to have both Ukraine be able to attend the meetings, as well as basically Ukraine being able to attend the G20 meeting and observe. With regard to, what was the first question?
If you think that Ukraine needs to cease, give up any territory in order to get a
That is a total judgment based on Ukraine. Nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine. I don't believe that they're going to have to do that, but that's a judgment. There's negotiations, that are discussions, I should say, that have taken place that I have not been part of, including Ukrainians, and it's their judgment to make. Cecilia, ABC. There you are.
Thank you. Sir, you've made it very clear in this conflict that you do not want to see World War III. But is it possible that in expressing that so early that you were too quick to rule out direct military intervention in this war? Could Putin have been emboldened knowing that you are not going to get involved directly in this conflict?
No and no.
That. And to clarify on chemical weapons, if chemical weapons were used in Ukraine, would that trigger a military response from NATO?
It would trigger a response in kind. Whether or not you're asking whether NATO would cross, we'd make that decision at the time.
And my final question, because you're heading to Poland tomorrow, do you think that getting a firsthand look at the effects of this war on these millions of Ukrainians who have fled their country could change the way that you might respond?
I don't think so, because I've been to many, many war zones. I've been in refugee camps. I've been in war zones for the last 15 years, and it's devastating. And but the thing you look at the most is you see these young children. You see children without parents that are in those camps or in refugees. You see women and husbands, men and women who are completely lost and have no nose. You see the look, that blank look on their face, that absolute feeling of, my God, where am I? What's going to happen to me? And so what it will do, it will reinforce my commitment to have the United States make sure we are a major piece of dealing with the relocation of all those folks, as well as humanitarian assistance needed both inside Ukraine and outside Ukraine. For example, this is not something that Poland or Romania or Germany should carry on their own. This is an international responsibility. The United States, as a leader, one of the leaders in the international community, has an obligation to be engaged and do all we can to ease the suffering and pain of innocent women and children and men, for that matter, throughout Ukraine, and those who have made it across the border. I plan on attempting to see those folks, as well as I hope I'm going to be able to see, I guess I'm not supposed to say where I'm going, am I? But anyway, I hope I get to see a lot of people. Marcus at Der Spiegel.
Thanks, Mr. President. There's a presidential election coming up in 2024, and as you know, there are yes, that's true. And there are widespread concerns in Europe that a figure like your predecessor, maybe even your predecessor himself, might get elected president again. Are there any steps, anything you are trying to do and NATO is trying to do here these days to prevent what you're trying to do becoming undone 2 years from now? Thank you.
No, that's not how I think of this. I've been dealing with foreign policy for longer than anybody that's involved in this process right now. I have no concerns about the impact. I made a commitment when I ran this time. I wasn't going to run again. And I mean that sincerely. I had no intention of running for president again. And until I saw those folks coming out of the fields in Virginia carrying torches and carrying Nazi banners and literally singing the same vile rhyme that they used in Germany in the early 20s, or 30s, I should say. And then when the gentleman you mentioned was asked what he thought, and a young woman was killed, a protester, and he was asked what he thought he said, there are very good people on both sides. And that's when I decided I wasn't going to be quiet any longer. And when I ran this time, and I think the American press, whether they look at me favorably or unfavorably, acknowledge this, I made a determination. Nothing is worth, no election is worth my not doing exactly what I think is the right thing. Not a joke. I'm too long in the tooth to fool with this any longer. And so we're a long way off in elections, a long way off. My focus, if any election, is on making sure that we retain the House and the United States Senate so that I have the room to continue to do the things that I've been able to do in terms of grow the economy and deal in a rational way with American foreign policy and lead the world, be the leader of the free world. So, but it's not an illogical question for someone to ask. I say to people at home, imagine if we sat and watched the doors of the Bundestag broken down and police officers killed and hundreds of people storming in. Or imagine if we saw that happening in the British Parliament or whatever. How would we feel? And one of the things that I take some solace from is I don't think you'll find any European leader who thinks that I am not up to the job. And I mean that sincerely. It's not like, whoa, it's that. The point is that when the first G7 meeting I attended, like the one I did today, was in Great Britain. And I sat down and I said, America's back. And one of my counterparts, colleagues, head of state, said, for how long? For how long? And so I don't criticize anybody for asking that question. But the next election, I'd be very fortunate if I had that same man running against me. Thank you very, very much. Whoa. No. Yeah, one final question, right. Hey, wait, hold on a second, please. I was supposed to be an hour ago at the European Union meeting and to speak. No, I'm thanking you. So someone I haven't called on before. You. Who are you?
I'm Christina Arcady from CBS. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sir, deterrence didn't work. What makes you think Vladimir Putin will alter course based on the action you've taken today?
Let's get something straight. You remember, if you covered me from the very beginning, I did not say that, in fact, the sanctions would deter him. Sanctions never deter. You keep talking about that. Sanctions never deter. The maintenance of sanctions, the increasing the pain, and the demonstration why I asked for this NATO meeting today is to be sure that after a month, we will sustain what we're doing, not just next month, the following month, but for the remainder of this entire year. That's what will stop him.
Do you believe the actions today will have an impact on making Russia change course in Ukraine?
That's not what I said. You're playing a game with me. I know. The answer is no. I think what happens is we have to demonstrate the purpose. The single most important thing is for us to stay unified. And the world continue to focus on what a brute this guy is. And all the innocent people's lives are being lost and ruined and what's going on. That's the important thing. But look, if you're Putin and you think that Europe is going to crack in a month or 6 weeks or 2 months, why not? They can take anything for another month, but we have to demonstrate. The reason I asked for the meeting, we have to stay fully, totally, thoroughly united. Thank you.
You can't meet face to face with a cartoon. And what happens if the national company can't resolve your issue and stops returning calls? Do yourself a favor and call the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our office is right here in St. Louis. I am a local attorney specializing in tax resolution. You can come in and sit down with a licensed, experienced attorney and put a name with a face. When it comes to tax issues, don't go with a cartoon. Get serious help with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, D-R-U-R-Y law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
The Closet Factory, online at closetfactory.com. Oh, these are just wonderful people. They're kind of like fairy godmothers. They come to your house and they look at the mess that you have in your house. And let's be honest, a mess doesn't always really have to look like a mess. Do you have places in your house that just drive you crazy? But if guests were to come over, they wouldn't necessarily notice them. Or the converse. You have messes in your house that you walk past all the time and you don't notice them, but if your guests come over, they would. The Closet Factory can come in and give you organizational solutions, wonderful, just visually pleasing solutions to your clutter, your disorganized places, or, I can think of a situation where you might have grandkids in the house now and you got all these toys and you don't know where to put them. Hide them with customized storage from the locally owned business, The Closet Factory. They've been in my house and really, really helped us get things organized. And I know they're going to do the same thing for you as well. Find out all you need to know online at closetfactory.com.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
A still united front. Lisa Brady, Fox News. That bottom line from President Biden moments ago, speaking after summits with NATO and G7 leaders in Brussels, where more sanctions on Russia and more help for Ukraine have been announced. The president says he asked for the NATO meeting to show continued unity against Russia's aggression. He was also asked what would happen if President Putin uses chemical weapons.
We would respond. We would respond if he uses it. The nature of the response would depend on the nature of the use.
Ukraine's president pleading with world leaders during 2 live video appearances today for more robust military assistance, telling them he can't just buy planes and tanks. Former President Trump is suing Hillary Clinton and several other Democrats, claiming they tried to rig the 2016 election by trying to tie his campaign to Russia. In a court filing, Trump accusing the defendants of conspiring to induce the FBI or Justice Department to investigate collusion with Russia. New York City's vaccine mandate now has some key exemptions for performers and pro athletes.
Mayor Eric Adams said it was time to end keeping unvaccinated New York athletes on the sideline, while unprotected out-of-town athletes got to play. He said it was an inequity.
Treating our performers differently because they lived and played for home teams.
The Brooklyn Nets' Kyrie Irving was the most notable example of it, up to now only playing in away games. Adams says he wasn't lobbied and followed the science in his decision. While he is a fan and wants to see his city's teams win, he says he'll push players vulnerable to COVID.
And hope that they do the vaccination and booster shots.
Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Some public employee unions are criticizing the move after some of their members were fired for refusing to get vaccinated. America is listening to Fox News.
Your life, your hopes, your passions. These things are none of our business. Your baby monitor research. If you're using too much diaper cream, and whatever you were searching for at 1:15 a.m., that's really none of our business. Because your life is private. And unlike other tech companies, we think your internet should be too. Aw, how old are they? That's none of our business either. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. When the prospect of divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men navigate complex legal matters for 30 years.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's St. Louis area attorneys. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Chesterfield, Missouri, 63017. Online at CordellCordell.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based based solely upon advertisement.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hang in there. This gloom is going to be kicking out, but not this afternoon. It's cloudy. It's chilly. Still a couple of showers, a little bit of drizzle. 45. That's it for the high. Tonight, rain's gone, but it's cloudy. It's cold. 38. Friday, clouds to start. Going partly sunny as we get into Friday afternoon. It's windy. 59. 60. Still a chance of a frost and a freeze across the area Saturday night into Sunday morning. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
When you own a small business, sometimes you need funds fast. So go to OnDeck, America's largest online small business lender with over $14 billion funded. OnDeck makes it easy to apply in minutes and, if approved, get your loan as soon as the same day so you can get back to business. Go to OnDeck.com. Your loan is on deck. Depending on certain loan attributes, your business loan may be issued by OnDeck or Celtic Bank, a Utah Chartered Industrial Bank member FDIC. Limited eligibility for same-day funding. OnDeck does not lend in every state. All loans subject to lender approval.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. For spring cleaning, make your own cleaning products from baking soda and vinegar. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Tony LaRussa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
So Hensher Johnson Orthodontics, maybe some of the new favorite people in my house from first person here experience. My kiddos went at Tuesday to visit Dr. Jody and meet the staff, and they just can't stop talking about how nice it was. And I'm going to be honest, they had a little trepidation about going to go through this process to begin with, because they don't know. You don't know what you know. I don't know what I don't know. And when we went to see Dr. Jody and we met the staff and they got to know the people who are going to help them with their orthodontic needs. Honestly, they said for my daughter, she doesn't really need anything right now. She's got a tooth that's kind of crooked that might need something down the line, but they didn't push anything on my daughter that she didn't need. And they discovered something in my son's mouth. He's tongue-tied. I didn't know that is causing his teeth to push out in the front. And she said, listen, we can't put braces on his teeth right now to fix them until you fix this issue. Otherwise, the problem's just going to continue to perpetuate itself once the braces get off. And we appreciated that honesty and the smart path to making sure that his mouth is aligned the way it's supposed to be and that we do it right the first time. You're going to get honest advice. You're going to get honest care when you go to Dr. Jody and her amazing staff at Hensher Johnson Orthodontics. If you are looking for an orthodontic place to go to for yourself or for your kids, your grandkids, look no further than Hensher Johnson Orthodontics online at HensherJohnsonOrtho.com.
Hey, natural gas leaks can be very dangerous if you're not careful. If you smell the odor of natural gas, leave it to the professionals to track it down. Warn others and leave the building immediately. Make sure you call your gas company from another location.
A tip from your friends at Mango.
Odyssey.com is a universe of audio, and it's where you can download the app to stream 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it today and stream anytime from anywhere. Where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock, Riverviews, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. Visit GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right? You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Yeah. You know, women are under attack. They're everything that makes a woman special and unique is being taken from them. And it's very similar to, the fact that you always say history repeats itself, but sometimes it's in a different way, but it's the same road. There was a time in this country when African Americans like myself, we had to fight to prove we were human. There was logic out there that we were 1/8 less and we were just something different, you know. Now we're seeing that it's come back around to where a woman is anything but what she is. Like only a woman can give birth to a child.
Right.
There has never been on this planet a human being born with ovaries and because of this episode, a Johnson and can create life.
Yeah.
Only a woman can do that. You can do it in the lab, but that's a woman. And the fact that I was really disappointed that she couldn't just said, yes, I'm a woman. I know what a woman is. You know what a woman is. But that's the power of the progressive and the woke, because she would have made a lot of enemies for just saying so. But what scares me is you're going to be a Supreme Court justice. You're going to back down from that?
Tyrus last night on Gutfeld, which is back on the air. I will remind you, I really enjoy watching this show. And the reason is because they talk about these issues in a way that real people talk about issues. It's not that there's anything wrong with the news format, but it's a discussion and I think it's helpful. And, you know, the one thing that Tyrus says in this clip here that really struck me when I was watching it last night is he said, women are under attack and everything that makes women special is part of what is under attack right now. And I'm raising 3 girls. I have a 9-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 9-month-old girls. And it's a really weird thing to not be able to explain to my kid what a woman is. Or that they will be women one day. That this is what happens, you know, as you go through life. Your girl's now, you're going to be a woman one day. How do you defend that? We've gone through a whole cycle in history of gender roles, of, you know, understanding the value of men versus the value of women. And it seems to me like if I think back in like the old times and where women had a place. And you know where the place is. If you're confused, just go read the comments on an ESPN social media post that has to do with women's basketball. You'll quickly learn where a women's place is based on that hellhole of a comment section. Obviously, the Neanderthal thinking about that is out the door, and women have become equal members of society based on their value as human beings. The worth of a person is based on what they can contribute. And the idea of feminism, like the OG feminism out there, was to say that, you know what, women can use their brains with just as much effect and sensibility as men, sometimes more, sometimes less, to cast a vote for a politician who will then represent them. A woman can be the person who represents men and women. This is how you achieve a place of equality that is based on the value of a person. Equality does not mean the same. We are not a society, we're not a species where we are the same. We are different. Men and women are different. And later on in the Gutfeld show, and if you watched the end of Gutfeld last night, you heard a Kat Timp story that, I mean, I've thought about playing it on the air. We'll see. It's hilarious. But she did make a point in this conversation, which I thought about but hadn't really articulated well. She did such a good job of it, was talking about how, you know what Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's response was as to why she could not apply a definition of what it means to be a woman? It's that she wasn't a biologist. What if she were a biologist? Are we suggesting that biology defines gender? Because it does. Are we suggesting that a biologist would be able to look at science, which is what biologists do, and apply that scientific data to what it means to be a woman? Because it can. If you look, this is kind of funny. If you look up woman in the dictionary, which, you know, if you're on social media, you probably have seen some of this floating around. If you look up woman at dictionary.com, it says an adult female person. I think that that's pretty much simple, right? If you value somebody based, again, like I was talking about in the first hour, if you value somebody based on those demographics, those things that cannot be changed about an individual, then you have to try to blur the lines between what is objectively true. And you know that it's objectively true because in front of the world, a Supreme Court justice nominee was asked what a woman is, and she said she couldn't answer because she's not a biologist. If she were a biologist, that implies that she would be able to answer it, and she would be able to answer it based on her scientific knowledge of the situation, which we all learned in like 5th grade science class was an XX chromosome. That's what a woman is. And that is not exclusionary. It does uphold what we all know to be scientifically true. When Tyrus is there saying that women are under attack, the understanding of the definition of being a woman, there are things that I have grown up, being a child of the 80s, growing up mostly through the 80s and the 90s, that there is like a female empowerment that came with that time, which was kind of in the renaissance of a women's movement where, you know, there are actually women who are out there fighting for the right to vote. To be able to cast a ballot for people who would represent you in office? I mean, yes, obviously. That is something that needed to be done because, once again, the value of a woman is her brain is what she has for society. It's not based on being the same as men, and women can never be the same as men. Let's get to Tyrus here.
Becoming like my most stable relationship.
Enough said.
Tyrus, welcome back to the show. Fox News contributor on Gutfeld. I just played a clip from you from last night where you said women are under attack, and I couldn't wait to ask you about that.
So are you going to ask me about it?
Why do you think women are under attack, Tyrus? I mean, I appreciate you saying that because I think that it's a weirdly brave thing to say right now.
I'm sorry. I came from a woman, and I really appreciate that you guys do that for us because I know it's not popular anymore, but you're the only ones that can do that. So,
yeah. You know what?
I just feel that in everybody's wokeness of being individualized and recognized, they want to take away the fundamental things that make women the amazing people that they are. Men, I always said that if women ran the show, we wouldn't have as much war, we wouldn't have as much conflict because they don't have the testosterone monster attitude that sometimes men can have. So there are differences, and it just seems they're always the easy target. They always seem to get forgotten, and now just to be a woman, anyone can do it, and I don't think that's right. I think you can identify as whatever you want, but even if you identify, if I woke up tomorrow and I identified as a woman, I wouldn't be a woman. I would be a man who has feelings of femininity, because a lot of times, and I'm just, going to get canceled, so be it. Sometimes when I see men do those things, it's all about the exterior, not the interior. And sometimes that in itself is not the definition, in my opinion, of what it is to be a woman. It's about the interior. It's about motherhood and things like that. And yes, men can love and we can do Alton cherish, but there is a certain magic that you can't really describe it that makes a woman a woman. And I just feel that that is always being like taken away, and the things that make women special, they're trying to make unspecial. I guess that's the best. It's a feeling. It's how I feel, and it bothers me. But
yeah,
it doesn't mean it's how I feel, and you can't argue it. And I get their feelings on the subject matter, but I just feel like women have been through enough, and we should be celebrating their uniqueness and what makes them women, opposed to trying to make it to where anybody who decides that's who they are and diminishes who they are. I mean, I just find it shocking because it doesn't happen to men. It doesn't happen to us.
Sure. Tyrus, one of the things that I'm noticing very much so in the identity politics world that we've been living in for quite some time now is that the pursuit for equality is been morphed into, unfortunately so, the pursuit to be the same. Like, if you're different races or different cultures, there are things to be celebrated about those differences. If you're a different gender than somebody else, there are reasons to celebrate those differences. But that's been negated because now we're all supposed to be the same. And if it's not the same, there's somebody out there who's looking to profit on financially or by power to try to remind everybody which side of the victim oppressor line that they live on. I'm curious what you think about that when it comes to culture, race, gender, all of that.
See, there's this old saying, and I keep going back and forth about it. This old brother one time told me, he was an assistant coach or something. He said that his grandfather walked to work, and then he drove a truck to work. And, I mean, his great-grandfather walked, his grandfather drove a truck. He drives a Mercedes-Benz, and his son will drive a Tesla or something like that. And then his son will walk to work. I feel like, and I didn't really understand it at the time, but I get it now. Sometimes when you get to a place of success and comfort, they focus on the wrong things and they end up going backwards. And I really feel like we're in a position now where we're going backwards. I don't think they understand what it is equality means. Equality doesn't mean your individual way attacking other people. Like, you have to respect what I am and what I do, or you can't be here. That is no different than what if they're saying, hey, look, I don't want blacks in my school because they're different than me. And now we're saying, well, whites, you can't be in here because you're different than us. I mean, they just don't get it. Equality is not about pushing yourself. And here's the deal. If you ask non-attention seeking Twitter wokesters, but regular Americans, what they want to be respected, left alone, and they don't want to bother anybody else. They're just like you should be able to have two churches on the same street. They're both going to do something that's similar, but it's different, and everybody respects each other. That's what equality is about. They misunderstand the definition.
Yeah, I think it's a great comparison to be able to have two practicing different denominations of Christianity, or it could be, a temple and a church on the same street. They exist there. Then why can't we do the same as humans?
Yeah. You're both doing the same things. You're doing it differently. And the problem is when you start saying, well, my way's better and your way's wrong. And that's the problem, is the tribalism has spread. It's not politics. It's a way of life. And then if everyone's individual fight equality is individual. It's different. There's no group representation. And whenever I see someone say, I'm fighting for all blacks, we were not all in the meeting. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's a good point.
It's an arrogance. It's a thing. We all have issues. We've all had road bumps. Your story of success is different than mine, but I guarantee you, both of us had some villains in there.
Yeah, that's so true.
So, and I think we forget that because we're a spoiled, chubby little country with first world problems, and we don't relate to anything else right now.
Yeah, that's one of those lessons that you're afraid that you're going to have to learn the hard way. I hope that we don't. I hope we can wise up. Tyrus, great to see you back on Gutfeld. Great to see Gutfeld back on Fox News. We love watching it here. We'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you so much.
All right, talk to you soon. Planet Tyrus on Twitter, at Planet Tyrus. Go tell him hello. And thanks for coming on the show. If you are so inclined, we're going to take a quick break right now. It is 1:22. You can donate your car to Goodwill and get 2022 Cardinal tickets at mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Cardinals. All right, when we come back, we're going to pick through that interview this morning that Mark Cox landed on the Mark Cox Morning Show with Eric Greitens in studio. Yeah, Greitens' name has been in the news lately, and he wanted to speak to Mark Cox about it, and we're going to highlight that here when we come back. Don't go away.
Toronto and I got this view.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
In a hotel room, yeah, it doesn't matter because I'm so consumed spending all
97.1 FM Talk. Uncensored discussion that's free in more ways than one. This is where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Right here, right now.
Michael's Flooring Outlet, igotfloored.com. That's the website, igotfloored.com. Michael is such a good guy, a homegrown business that he has built over the course of pushing 30 years now, I believe, based on working with people just like you, local folks who are looking for the best investment opportunity for flooring. You've worked hard for your money. You want to make sure that you're spending it wisely, but you also want to not sacrifice on quality when it comes to what you're going to put in your home, or maybe your place of business, or a church that you help operate or volunteer at. Well, you can trust the people, the customer sales staff at Michael's Flooring Outlet, to give you honest information, to give you great, intelligent guidance on what flooring would suit your needs the best. If you know you want a hardwood aesthetic, maybe there are some other opportunities to put something in that looks like that, that's going to withstand the lifestyle you're going to live on it. Maybe you're looking for carpet for your house, but you have a pet and you want to make sure that the carpet isn't going to be, like the collector of all things pet. They have that Mohawk Smart Strand all pet for you. You can check that out as well. For the flooring shopping in your future, visit Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloored.com.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. When it comes to your tax issues, why would you trust some faceless national company that uses cartoons in its ads to protect you? Tax problems are not funny and should not be treated lightly. If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue and you need a lawyer that will protect your rights. You can't meet face-to-face with a cartoon. And what happens if the national company can't resolve your issue and stops returning calls? Do yourself a favor and call the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our office is right here in St. Louis. I am a local attorney specializing in tax resolution. You can come in and sit down with a licensed, experienced attorney and put a name with a face. When it comes to tax issues, don't go with a cartoon. Get serious help with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Cardinals single game tickets for the 2022 season are on sale now and start at just $6. The schedule is filled with great matchups, including 2 Cubs weekends and a rare weekend visit from the New York Yankees. The promo schedule is packed too, with bobbleheads, jerseys, and tributes, saluting Yachty and Waino throughout the year. There's something for everyone in the 2022 season. Get your tickets now at Cardinals.com.
Cardinals theme tickets are on sale now, and the 2022 lineup looks better than ever. Backed by popular demand, check out returning favorites like Star Wars, Margaritaville, Grateful Dead, Boy Band, St. Louis Blues, Teachers, and Nurses Nights. New for 22, fans can enjoy themes like Friends, St. Louis City SC, Shark Week, and more. Get your theme tickets today at cardinals.com/theme.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Pineview Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free, plus a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value,
free to callers now. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Pineview Medical now to qualify. 314-530-7777.
Non-attorney spokesperson. Ad sponsored by Open Jar Concepts. Attention veterans and active duty military. If you were issued earplugs between 2002 and 2016 and were diagnosed with hearing loss or ringing in the ears, you may be entitled to compensation. The manufacturer of these military earplugs recently paid $9.1 million to resolve claims that their earplugs were defective, potentially exposing service members to damaging sound levels that could have resulted in hearing loss or tinnitus. If you or a loved one were issued earplugs and were diagnosed with tinnitus or hearing loss, don't wait. You fought for this country, and our attorneys want to fight for you. Call 800-209-3734 now for a free legal consultation and to see if you may be eligible to file a claim. Time restrictions may apply, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. So call 800-209-3734 now. Again, 800-209-3734. That's 800-209-3734.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Looking around the house, hidden behind the window and the door, searching for signs of life, but there's nobody home.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show, especially to you, Ryan Wiggins. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show.
Hey, thanks. It's been a day or two.
How's it been?
It's been a good day or two.
Better yesterday when you weren't here than today when you are?
I had a really good day. No, it was yesterday.
Particularly, my favorite part was when I wasn't here.
My favorite part was when they called me and said, your flooring's in, but not all of it.
How does that work?
Okay. So I guess I'll just keep waiting, even though I had the day. So yeah, that's what mostly I was doing yesterday.
We weren't going to tell you. We were going to wait and see if you found it on your own. But our good friend and Fanny, Jimmy, tweeted at you and said that, that Brad.
I didn't get to hear it.
You still haven't heard it?
So Brad did Wiggins America yesterday, but it was called Brad Nation.
It wasn't. That's what Jimmy called it. No, it was full on Wiggins America.
Oh, so you still played my sounder. It was just Brad talking.
100%.
Okay. Did you make sure that people knew that it wasn't me?
I think they could tell.
Okay.
I think it was pretty obvious.
I mean, if somebody tuning in for the first time, they would have gone, "Oh, that must be Wiggins talking right now."
If Brad was going to do a Wiggins America on any topic, what do you think he would choose?
Oh, if it was not serious, he's doing it on gummy bears.
Close. Milk.
Chocolate milk. That's not far off. I believe that.
Do you know the chocolate milk story, the flavored milk story that's out there right now? I think it would be of interest to you.
Does this involve me, or is this a story?
No, it doesn't involve you, other than your love for milk.
No, I don't know the story.
Lee Stefanik, New York.
Yeah.
Is trying to get a bill passed that says that schools would lose federal funding if they don't offer an option of flavored milk.
That seems stupid.
Specific.
But
it's an anti-Michelle Obama lunch thing.
Oh, so it's just trying to make lunch fun again.
If you're picking a flavor of milk, what's your flavor?
There's some really good ones in
chocolate counts.
No, it's not chocolate though. It's either cookies and cream, which is fantastic.
Is that what you said that you had?
I said that was my favorite until it got taken away, but I remembered that it got taken away.
She was in school during the Michelle Obama lunchtime, and she had a whole flashback.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
The sun butter.
Did the actual
everything.
Lunches change?
Oh yeah. Completely.
Immediately overnight they changed.
Yes. The whole menu changed.
No kidding, and it got worse. I'm assuming.
Terrible.
Lots more celery and broccoli, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about this. I'm still upset.
Yeah, it clearly struck a chord with Hannah.
Wow.
There's some she's seen some things.
I guess. Wow. And then you grew up and you started voting.
No, then she grew up and went to college, and then the same politicians made them wear masks everywhere. They went and stayed home.
So you're in favor of this milk bill then?
Yeah, I guess.
She can stick it to the man.
I like how she's leaving her options open, though. Yeah. I haven't read it yet, but in theory, yes.
Here's a question. Do you like strawberry milk? We talked about this yesterday.
I don't dislike it, but not my pick. And chocolate isn't either.
Cookies and cream is.
Cookies and cream, depending on how. So there's flavors you can shoot into a milk, like the ones that you can shoot into water. Same
That
kind of
just
sounds gross.
I've never heard of
conflicting
that.
in my brain.
It
It's like
sounds
a, it's like a Mio for
Yeah, it's
milk.
one of those for milk. Yeah,
Oh.
they do make those.
Oh.
They're very good. There's a couple different brands. They also make straws that you can just
Oh.
suck the milk through that flavor it as it's coming through the
We
straw.
used to have the straws too at lunch.
And both of them, the cookies and cream of the straw, fantastic. Cookies and cream of the spray, a little chemically. Whatever you
Hey,
call it.
spray a little of this into your milk and drink up. I'm gonna pass on that. I've never had cookies and cream milk. I've never had strawberry milk. I've had chocolate milk, obviously, like regular milk, and I've had vanilla almond milk.
That's good.
That's good.
Chocolate almond milk is really, really good.
Yeah.
It's super
Have
sweet.
you ever compared the nutrition facts on it? It's not really much different.
No, not really. I think
It's
there's
just not
actually a
lactose.
little, the sugar content, I think, in the almond milk may be a little higher, depending on if you get the vanilla or not.
Mhm. Yeah.
If you get the unsweetened, though, it's like, what am I even drinking? Why am I
doing this? Yeah.
Why am I doing this myself?
Because if you were lactose intolerant, that would be the difference.
Yeah. But now,
You were lactose tolerant.
I think as I'm getting older, I'm starting to have trouble. But oat milk, good alternative.
Yeah?
Have you ever tried that?
No.
Oat milk's very good. Almond milk's fine. And there is a.
How does oat milk compare to regular? I think we get 1% milk. In our house.
It doesn't taste exactly the same. And if you're trying to do gluten free, I think it's okay for that because it's oats and not wheat. But it's a very good alternative. Although I say the best alternative, if you can do it, is if you get the lactose free version of the ultra filtered milk. Have you tried that yet?
No.
Fairlife is a brand that sells that. It's just they just filter the milk more than normal milk, and it gets rid of a ton of the sugar and a lot of the stuff that is the reason you don't drink as much milk.
D2C got something to say about milk?
Oh, that
Apparently.
scared me.
He just pokes his head right in the studio window.
Are you a milk connoisseur too, my
He
friend?
seems passionate about something.
I want to add a little plug in here, not paid or sponsored at all, but Rolling Lawns Farm,
They have great
Greenville,
stuff.
Illinois, and it's distributed now in a lot more places. If you have the opportunity to seek out Rolling Lawns Farm milk, you need to do it. Just try it once and you'll see exactly what I mean, especially their eggnog at Christmas.
We've actually made pilgrimages out there to their store.
Pilgrimages.
Oh yeah, the whole family. Saturday morning, we're going out to Greenville.
Shooting turkeys.
Yes, because they have a great store there. It's huge, and I think they were creating a
ice cream
creamery in there.
Mhm.
But COVID hit, so I don't know if they finished it or if it's done
Yes,
now. I
they
haven't been
have.
back. Have they? Okay,
It's there. Hey D,
that's great.
what do you
This with milk? You what? Felt like the cows are being decimated here. What? Strawberry milk? Really?
if you're drinking? Are you drinking any flavored milk? Just white milk.
What percent?
He just nods.
Plain
He's on the
Jane.
radio, and he's a radio pro too.
I know. He knows what
but
he's doing.
he knows what he's doing.
He shows up in our studio door because he's got thoughts on milk, and we come in here and ask him questions. And he nods.
Well, here's what happened. I just
confident he
happened to
is.
be grazing through.
Mhm.
Grazing.
No pun intended. Grazing
Is there
through
food
the
out
Twitch
there?
channels, and I came across yours. I'm like, milk. Wait a minute. Strawberry milk. Okay, now she's on Nestle. Quick, we got to talk.
If your flavor, will you drink chocolate milk?
Of course.
If you're making white milk, chocolate milk, not going to buy a chocolate milk out of a gas station refrigerator or whatever, you're making your own chocolate milk. How are you doing it?
Old school or new school rules?
Your school rules.
right now.
I'm old school. Boy, you got to get the can out and then
Hershey syrup.
Yes, right. You
Yeah,
get-
my
you get
grandma used to make it that way. Like it was unheard of. I thought it was like a special Hamel, Illinois trick or something like that.
So here, let me tell you the rule of thumb for my urbanites out there.
Okay.
There's a traditional way of doing chocolate milk, and you've seen it before.
Mhm.
Think back to Laverne and Shirley.
Okay, I'll have to
Milk
think
and
real hard.
Pepsi.
What?
Yes.
Pepsi?
Yes.
Wait. You pour soda in the milk?
Yes.
What?
That sounds
If you've
terrible.
never tried it, you have to try it at least one time. I guarantee you. You'll be
Do we
like,
have milk
wow.
and Pepsi
Wait,
out
this
there?
this is like a well-known urban thing.
Man,
I've
my
never heard of
grandmother
this.
used to do this.
And they would call it chocolate milk?
Of course.
No.
Well, think
way.
about it. What is Coca-Cola made out of?
Cocaine. No.
Lord, I had to ask.
High fructose corn syrup,
Syrup.
mostly.
Syrup.
Coca leaves,
Yeah.
which is the same thing that is in your chocolate milk mix.
But
Eric,
Pepsi?
Eric says it's a Pepsi float.
Exactly.
But
yeah, but it's
Not in
it's
milk.
carbonated.
with
The
But do you like
carbon's
root-
gone after that. You don't even have to worry
So
about it.
hold on a second. If we're talking like root beer float, that's carbonated, that's soda and ice cream. But I've
Correct.
never heard about it. I mean, you're
It's the
talking
same
about like
difference.
milk out of a jug.
Same difference.
What's the is it 50-50?
Yeah.
What's the combination?
50-50.
Really?
Mhm.
See, I would have thought you'd go
Wow.
pretty light on the soda if you
Well, it's all in
I
personal
would think you'd
taste
go really
preference, but
light
you
on
know
the
what I'm saying?
soda.
But no, absolutely, and it's better with Pepsi. I don't deal with Coke. I'm just sorry.
I'm a
Wow.
I'm a Pepsi
Wow.
product
Wait a
person.
minute,
So,
and no pun intended on that either.
so
We're gonna have to do this now. You know that.
we should have the stuff over there. I'll fund this project if
Yeah,
you'll
it's
drink
I
probably
it.
don't think we
here.
have regular milk over there. though.
No,
might.
we have Fairlife milk.
No.
What's
You
wrong
put
with
that in there?
what's wrong with Fairlife milk?
That's what I was just talking
bad
about. It's the
aftertaste?
it's the filtered stuff.
What-
It's highly
what
filtered.
type of
It's
milk?
good.
Regular
Tried
milk?
it and it didn't work for me.
It's
No.
because
Do
you're
we
drinking
have
1%.
Prairie Farms
it has
out
nothing to
there?
do with it.
I'm a 2% kind of guy. Thank you.
Yeah,
I like
it's
2%
because
too.
the stuff we have here is too low a percent. You get the high percent stuff you
Hey,
want.
look, that's for joggers and people on the health kick. I can that
Not for
no,
you?
No, ma'am. Mm-mm.
You're not a jogger?
Peevely.
All right, then go to Peevely and get back before 3, and we'll do it before the end of the show.
We don't even have the milk place up the street no more. They're gone. It just what was that? Prairie Farms was up the street. What
Prairie
was it?
Farms is local. I thought is it Missouri
There
and
was one that
Illinois?
was right
Yeah.
there on the corner,
It's
right there
both.
by not Children's, Cardinal Glen.
You ever had milk right out of a cow?
No,
I
am not going that far.
I don't think
Sorry.
I have, but I've been
seen that
around
on
it
YouTube.
happening.
I'm not. No.
I really want to do that.
Oh, I can make that happen.
Oh yeah, I want to make that happen.
I know Jared's very good friends with some dairy farmers.
I want to try it 2 ways: straight from the cow,
What does that mean?
and then
From
secondly,
the udder?
I want it chilled. No, I
Wait
don't
a
want to
second.
suck on the udder. I don't want to do that. I do want to try it as fresh as possible,
Oh my God.
and then I want it chilled, and I want to drink it cold.
You
but
regret
not
your decision, D, coming
You see
in here?
what you
Homogenized
started
everything.
Oak Ridge? Do you see what you started Oak Ridge?
You want it? You want squirt in a cup straight from the cow,
Yes,
So you want warm milk?
I
and
want
then
to try
chilled
it
milk.
as fresh as possible,
like
and then I want
like
to try
the
it.
calf tries it.
Somebody, yeah. In my head, that's
Almost.
in a bucket. I don't know why, but it's in a bucket. And I want somebody to take that bucket,
You
put it
should
in the
come
fridge.
with us. You
and then I
should
get
come
to
with
drink
us. You want to come to a
I'll film it. Absolutely.
you
I
will?
will film it.
man? I don't know if I can. I'm pretty sure I can cash these checks, so I'm gonna keep
Okay.
writing them. And then you want it chilled.
Yeah. Same milk. I want to try it fresh, and then I want somebody to put it in the refrigerator for 5 or 6 hours.
Why
so I
does
can drink it
somebody
cold.
have to do it? Why don't you do it?
I'm too busy.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna need you to set this in the refrigerator for me, please.
Oh,
Wow.
My.
As he sits on a bump on a log.
I'm going to need Hannah to do that.
Oh, I got news. Hannah ain't doing that.
No? Okay. Well, if D2C's recording it, maybe he can do it.
All right. Well, that rock and roll.
That was good.
We are going to talk about Eric Crichton. You want to stick around for that? Or you want to leave?
I'm utterly done.
That was planned. You had to have planned that.
We're going to talk about the Eric Greitens interview with Mark Cox. Mark Cox's morning show did the interview with him. He was in studio. Greitens was in studio this morning here on 97.1 to give this interview, and we'll get the highlights for you when we come back. Don't go away.
Searching for signs of life, but there's nobody home.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
Just too sure.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Brian, tell me, one of the things that we're hearing from the Ukrainians is that the chief tank manufacturer for Russia has run out of parts.
When you buy a tank from 1988, a lot of times Amazon has trouble delivering to a country you invaded.
On 97.1 FM Talk.
Looking to sell your house without all the hassle and pricey repair costs? Great! Because Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis loves buying fix-up homes in any condition, as is, no fees and no commissions. Call 314-782-8000, and Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis will give you a cash offer right now. No strings attached. We buy inherited houses, divorce houses, trashed houses, even those my tenant won't pay rent houses. Call Chris at 314-782-8000 and find out how easy it is to work with us. That's 314-782-8000. Do you think your home will be difficult to sell? Easy. Our team will provide you with personal guidance through our short and simple process to turn your house into a pile of gold. Just call Chris at 314-782-8000. 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And let Chris worry about everything.
I'm proud to announce the new AmbassadorMidwestFloor.com.
We've created a new website to shop for flooring from the comforts of your home.
Building a home or have a big project? Our online design workbook lets you save all your favorite products, colors, and styles in one place.
Shop all the finest flooring brands, Mohawk, Karastan, Pergo, Deltile, and more without ever leaving home.
See the latest in flooring and the finest selection at AmbassadorMidwestFloor.com.
And experience more at AmbassadorMidwestFloor.com.
These symptoms may sound familiar to you, and if they do, then hopefully your ears just perked up. No pun intended, because we're talking about sleep. Headaches during the day, bad concentration. For me, it was always that I couldn't really multitask. I could get focused on one thing, but if anything threw me off, I couldn't get back on track. At nighttime, snoring, restless sleep, pauses in breathing. You may not even know you're doing that. I didn't. If you have those, you probably have sleep apnea. The great news is there is a solution for that, and it doesn't involve medicine. It doesn't really even involve sleep studies or any of that stuff. You just go to your dentist, Dr. Ty Parker, Fountains Family Dentistry. He will take care of you, fit you with a dental appliance is what they call them. I just call it a retainer because that's what it feels like to wear it at night. Very, very easy. Solves your problems like that. Couldn't recommend it highly enough. I am a patient, and that is one of the reasons that I like to advertise for them because it has helped me so much. Fountains Family Dentistry is in Fairview Heights, Illinois. Visit them at fountainsfamilydentistry.com.
The St. Louis real estate market continues to make headlines for home sellers. Selling's easier, but finding your next home can be tricky. Hey, Mark Cox here. For the best real estate advice, get to know my friend and realtor Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I know everyone knows a realtor. I know several as well, but I only endorse Gloria because of her proven track record. I've seen her systems, I've met her clients, and when it comes to getting you more money, Gloria is the only agent and team I would trust to sell my home. The secret is Gloria already has the buyers. Thousands of buyers who are looking for homes in your area, your price range, and ready to buy today. This is how Gloria creates higher demand, multiple offers, and the most money for you. So take it from me. Call Gloria today at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear from home title thieves. But if you own a home and you don't guard it with Home Title Lock, you're inviting home title fraud, one of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know U.S. home values are sky high, and they paint a target on us. The crime is scary simple. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. Now he's on the deed to your home, and you have no idea you're a victim. Then he takes out loans on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Lock puts a virtual barrier around your home's title. The instant they detect tampering, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, guard it with your life. Go to GetTitleLock.com and register your address to see if you're already a victim. And enter radio for 30 days of free protection. That's code radio at GetTitleLock.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Get in your comfort zone with a new HVAC system. Double carrier cool cash rebates for a total of $143 are available on qualifying new HVAC systems. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
If it's bumper to bumper or smooth sailing, Sue Thomas has you covered with dependable traffic. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
She got out of town on a railway, New York bound.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Took all except my name.
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Well, some things in this world you just can't change. Some things you can't see until it gets too late.
I'm looking at my sheet for some sound on milk or cocaine.
You got anything on Hunter's laptop on here? For milk, he's big into dairy.
Hunter?
I don't know.
No.
Have you seen his laptop?
I have not, but man,
he strikes me as a dairy guy.
When you were talking,
wait a second, I like dairy. What are you saying about dairy people?
Yeah, exactly. When you were talking to Jack Posobiec, did he say that did he say anything he had seen on it? I know you teased that he had seen
He
it.
kind of alluded to things. I didn't ask him specifically, but I mean, if you go back into the Annie Frey Show podcast, we had him on like right after, within a day of him seeing it, and he talked about it.
Not to derail things here, but Brian Kilmeade.
It'd be hard to derail what we're doing right now.
Last Friday had Carly Shimkus on.
Mm-hmm.
On the air, he said he was talking to, I don't know, a law enforcement, somebody who had a copy of the laptop.
Mm-hmm.
And the law enforcement person said, he said, can I see it? It'd go a long way in helping me to report on it if I could actually see it. He said, I won't let you see it because then you will become liable, possibly, for the things that are on it that include
dissemination of child pornography. Yes.
And milk.
On the laptop.
Lots of dairy.
And apparently milk.
So wait a second. We've had some people who have called in to react to our segment, which is fantastic.
Yeah, there were some issues that people had with something that you said about Coca-Cola and the amount of cocaine inside of it.
I thought it was just full of cocaine. Were we wrong?
Your Coke might be. But
well, if you'd stop putting it in there.
Yeah.
I drink my Pepsi on a mirror.
Oh, you're a Pepsi guy, so you're not even part of the conversation.
It's real messy. So the correction was what?
So the correction was cocaine is no longer in Coca-Cola, and it hasn't been since 1929, as the research department has found out. And
it's a huge department too. I mean,
huge department, and cocaine and other addictive chemicals were also they were in a lot of other different kinds of medicines too, not just Coca-Cola. But people had issues with that as early as the 1890s, if you can believe it. And so by 1929, right in the middle of Prohibition, they finally got rid of all the Coke. Now they phased it out. They didn't
cocaine.
The
not
cocaine.
The Coke.
Right. You're right.
They kept the Coke. Got rid of the cocaine.
The booger sugar no longer in the soda.
Yeah.
It's not part of the equation.
Jake.
Now they did phase it out.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's
there was
sweet of them.
There was a time between 1890 and 1929 where there was still a little bit of cocaine inside the Coke, but eventually it was all gone.
Oh.
Roaring 20s.
Sorry for the misleading information, people.
And then by the time alcohol was outlawed, now soda did not have any kind of drugs in it. Excellent timing.
Should I clarify that I was joking? I feel like I need to.
No, because you weren't super joking, because there was cocaine in Coke at some point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I thought you were saying that's why you drank Coca-Cola.
Now that's a leap. That's an assumption to make about Annie.
Of all of the things that you listen to me on a regular basis and trust me with.
I don't know. I mean, somebody called in. I don't know that I got that impression that you were saying you really thought there was cocaine.
If one person called in,
but
there are at least a dozen who thought the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe dozens.
I also wouldn't be that worried about it because I think we're in the clear as far
now
as
we know.
cocaine usage.
It's more about the fact that it was believable that I thought that Coke was just laced with cocaine still.
Oh man,
I don't let my kids
know
drink
who
still.
this is on this frequency, but they're an idiot. I got to call and let them know.
My name is Mark Cox.
Yeah. This is the Mark Cox Midday
I have
Show.
a storied career in television journalism.
Yeah, it wasn't even a caller. Mark Reardon texted me about it.
No kidding. Who is this? I should take over noon to 6. That's what's going to happen here. Well, thank you, Jake. I appreciate that.
Oh,
Thanks
you're
for
very
filling
welcome.
in back there. We appreciate you.
Always here to give you lots of fun facts about soda and drugs, or both.
Yeah,
sometimes.
He's been researching feverishly out there since
with the whole
caller came
department.
on.
Yeah, all 2 pages of Google that I looked at.
Man, if you went to page 2, that is deep research.
Mhm.
Do you go to page 2 for anything? If it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
there on page 1, I'm out.
Sometimes I'll just click on page 10 just to see how deep it goes because I want to go all the way in the rabbit hole. Sometimes.
Should we do Greitens now, or should
No.
that go next hour?
We should wait because there's a lot there.
It's a good interview, too. So Mark Cox had Eric Greitens in studio this morning. And if you want to scoop us, you can go listen to the whole podcast on the Mark Cox Morning Show podcast, which you should be subscribed to. We're going to play some clips from that. I keep promoting it in the 2 o'clock hour here and see what he had to say. I think that this Senate race has just been completely transformed in the last week.
I do too.
But I honestly have not heard the full interview with Eric Greitens. So I'm going to be hearing it with you guys for the first time, and you'll be in here and we'll talk about it then. Do you want to do Wiggins America real quick?
Sure, I can do it.
We
can
got 3 minutes.
Yeah, we're gonna do
Hit it.
55-50.
Let's hit it.
Yeah, just hit it.
Oh, okay.
Give Hannah a break. Hannah's feeling
Yes!
Yes! Do you notice she did that without even flinching? Like she never turned. She didn't frantically look for anything.
She's got instincts, man. She knows what she's doing.
Woman.
I mean, I don't even know what a woman is. So you can call her that, but I don't know what that means.
I do.
What do you do about your income taxes? Are you a person, and Hannah, I'll ask you this, but I don't know that you're into this yet.
No.
Are you, Annie, a person who tries to get as much back as possible because you have an extra payday, or do you try to keep it limited so that you're only paying the government exactly what they demand and no more?
I completely understand, regardless of how I answer this, the comments that are about to come in, like, you're giving the government an interest-free loan. Okay, yes, I understand that. But I do not want to end up owing a lot of taxes. And if something comes up and I screw it up, I don't want to do that. And I have previously had, and still do have, income that I have to claim outside of just my W-2. So you set extra aside to cover the income that you're going to have to pay taxes on for that stuff so that you don't end up owing. So I would always rather get something back, but I'm not like, it's not like I'm purposely going to get the biggest. You can get penalized for doing that.
You allow yourself a cushion in case of error. You're not trying to save up like you're getting an extra payday.
And with the stimulus checks that came out this
It's all
past year, it was quite a different year for us. I've already got my tax return, and it was significantly different than it had been previously.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah, it's going to be if you're already done with it, great. We're just going through ours right now, but it's going to be a messy year. I try to keep it pretty low to the line, like as close as I can. But like you said, going over enough that I don't really have to worry about it either, because I don't want to pay at tax time. This news story is what brought it up, though. If income taxes weren't indexed to inflation, Americans would be subject to higher tax rates for raises they received, in some cases to keep up with inflation. But federally, they are indexed to inflation. So the amount, the tax bracket you fall in will change over the last couple of years because inflation is so high. But get this, there are 15 states that do not index their income tax brackets to inflation. You want to guess which one?
Illinois?
Illinois does not tie its income tax brackets to inflation. Part of that is because it's a flat tax, but most states do.
Mhm.
Missouri does. So yeah, we live in a state that basically you're going to be paying more, because if you got any sort of raise, you're trying to get extra money to keep up with inflation. You're just going to be giving more money to the government this year because the inflation rates doesn't.
I'm shocked that Illinois would do
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. What do you said you try to balance it out as much as possible?
I do.
Do you do your own taxes?
I tried 1 year, and
Bad
that
news.
was a couple years ago, and I was like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
Having a rental house, it just makes it
When you
automatic.
add in those
Don't
extra,
do it.
yeah, when you add in these extra things, it's
Yeah, it's a
more
mess.
complicated, and I am so scared of doing it wrong, which is not the way it should be.
Right. It
That
should
is
be easy.
not the way it should
It should be a postcard.
More Annie Frey Show in a minute. Greiton's interview when we come back. Don't go away.
Home title theft. That's the identity fraud you really need to worry about. Why? Because home title theft is on the rise. It's devastating, and you can even get evicted from your home. Look, credit card and bank identity thefts are a nuisance. But if a thief gets your credit card, the card company handles it. And the same with your bank account. Your bank covers it. But when a cyber thief forges his name onto your home's title, he can take over your home and even have you evicted. That's why you should protect the legal title to your home with Home Title Lock, America's leader in home title protection. The instant they detect a foreign or domestic cyber thief tampering with your home's title, they mobilize their U.S.-based experts to help shut it down. Protect your most valuable asset. Go to gettitlelock.com and register your address to see if you're already a victim. And use promo code RADIO for 30 free days of protection. Again, that's gettitlelock.com. Promo code RADIO.
Surprise! Surprise! You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-314 374-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
Springtime in St. Louis, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. Genius.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Is your portfolio positioned for the biggest risks facing investors today? Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. We have experienced tremendous economic changes in the last year. Today, historically low interest rates and spiking inflation present new risks and opportunities for investors. If you haven't made changes to your investments in the last year, it's time for a portfolio review. With 100 years of combined experience, our team can help you prepare for the risks relevant to today's investors. Contact the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel to request a free portfolio review at clearpathinvesting.com or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
How to stay on the same page. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. In a trio of summits today, U.S. and NATO allies are pledging continued support for Ukraine while hitting Russia with more sanctions. President Biden says NATO has never been more united and that Russia's president didn't think they could maintain this level of cohesion. Fox's Colonel Scott has more live.
Lisa, President Biden told reporters after his NATO meeting in Belgium that the U.S. intends to play a major role in Ukraine's resistance, from providing arms to sending humanitarian aid. And for those seeking an escape,
we've also will welcome 100,000 Ukrainians to the United States with a focus on reuniting families.
The president, in a forceful tone, rebutted talk that sanctions weren't effective on Russia. He says it's not placing sanctions.
The maintenance of sanctions. Increasing the pain,
which he said could last through the end of the year, Lisa.
Well, Russia's foreign ministry says by sending arms, the West has encouraged Ukraine to use violence against pro-Russian territories, and that NATO's pledge of continued support shows it wants the conflict to continue. Statements reported by Russian state-owned media. Ukraine's military has made gains, including in the Sea of Azov, less than 50 miles from the devastated city of Mariupol.
That's where the Ukrainian Navy claims it has destroyed a Russian ship that was stationed in the port of Berdyansk. Now, while there are no independent confirmations of this, video posted on social media appears to show a huge fire with ensuing explosions at the port.
Fox's Jeff Paul in Lviv. The House committee probing the Capitol riot says a vote is now coming next week to consider contempt of Congress charges against two former Trump aides, Peter Navarro and Dan Scavino, who had been subpoenaed, but who have cited executive privilege concerns. Scavino saying he believes that issue is ultimately headed for the Supreme Court. America is listening to Fox News.
Your goals, your future, your dreams. These things are none of our business. Your credit score, your true crime obsession, and whatever you were searching for at 1:15 a.m., that's really none of our business. Because your life is private, and unlike other tech companies, we think your internet should be too. Oh, is someone there? Oh, that's none of our business either. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
New school, new job, new home. Change is hard and can leave you feeling isolated. And divorce delivers one of life's hardest blows. The relationships you counted on are suddenly gone. But you don't have to walk through this alone. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has guided men through the challenges of divorce. You're not alone. Call Cordell & Cordell.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Chesterfield, Missouri, 63017. CordellCordell.com.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hang in there. This gloom is going to be kicking out, but not this afternoon. It's cloudy. It's chilly. Still a couple of showers, a little bit of drizzle. 45. That's it for the high. Tonight, rain's gone, but it's cloudy. It's cold. 38. Friday, clouds to start. Going partly sunny as we get into Friday afternoon. It's windy. 59. 60. Still a chance of a frost and a freeze across the area Saturday night into Sunday morning. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Mark Cox here. School board elections are coming up April 5th. This is important. I want to help you make the right choice for you and your children. Listen to the Mark Cox Morning Show weekdays from 5 to 9, where I'm interviewing the candidates and asking them about the important issues like school mandates and remote learning and CRT. I'm also working on my school board edition of the 2022 Voters Guide with my endorsements. That's weekdays 5 to 9 a.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
If you're looking to build a home in the Metro East, I really want to encourage you to go to this website to see a little bit about what C.A. Jones can do for you. cajonesinc.com. That's the website that you can visit. And you can quickly see why so many people in the Metro East and Southwestern Illinois are choosing to build with C.A. Jones. First of all, they have 25 years of home building experience. These people know what they're doing. They know what the trends are, but they also know what lasts the test of time. C.A. Jones is incredibly knowledgeable in different kinds of home builds. When you go to cajonesinc.com, you can click there on the design your home portion of the website. You can look at floor plans. They have a whole different array of floor plans, and you can see exactly how all of these different ones are laid out, different amounts of bedrooms. If you're looking for 2, 3, 4 bedroom, finished basement where you can add in extra bedrooms, C.A. Jones has the house for you, and you can customize so much of what comes along with this home when you sit down and start that conversation with these wonderful people. Learn more online at cajonesinc.com.
I'm Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group. I'm proud to say we are a family business. Through innovative financial tools, my nephew Bob and I are committed to making sure your retirement nest egg is kept safe from market declines. As a matter of fact, we have never lost a dime of our clients' money, and we won't lose any of yours either.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, and the secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. As we look ahead at the likelihood of increasing volatility in the market, it's important that you protect your nest egg from market losses, as that's the engine that drives your retirement income.
Our family would like to help your family retire comfortably and keep your retirement safe and secure. Call us now for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 36 years. Call us now, 314-993-9494. Or online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Hi, Mark Goldstein here for Edwards Carpet. In my 40 years in flooring, I've never seen wholesale prices on flooring go up by more than 30% in a year. I can't say that anymore. Another increase is coming April 1st, so I've never meant this more. Now is the time to buy, and carpet is made in America. This is your last chance to get an Anso Fiber 20-year non-prorated warranty 50-ounce carpet that regularly sells for $6.99 for only $4.19 a square foot. Carpet, pad, installation, furniture moving, and take-up of your old carpet is all included for $4.19 a square foot. Edwards Carpet, best deal in town.
Discover thousands of dollars in new tax credits and your biggest refund guaranteed with Jackson Hewitt. Schedule an appointment with one of our tax pros to get a head start on your taxes. Go to jacksonhewitt.com to learn more and find a location near you.
Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Find the car you want, new or used. Get it at Clement, get pre-approved. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. ClementAutoGroup.com. Odyssey is your home for all the audio that matters to you. Download the Odyssey app today to listen to 97.1 FM Talk, even when you don't have a radio. Always streaming at 971talk.com. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock, Riverviews, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. Visit GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for being here with us. If you've missed anything today on the show, a reminder that on the Odyssey app, when you find 97.1 FM Talk there, you can rewind up to 24 hours back and listen to anything you missed. So if you got to hear half of an interview and you had to get out of your car, or if you got into your car in the middle of an interview, get on the Odyssey app, rewind, and you will be able to hear what you missed. So let's talk a little bit about this big interview that Mark Cox had on the Mark Cox Morning Show with Eric Greitens. Real quick before we get into it, Ryan, when the news came out about the court documents in a child custody case between Sheena Greitens, the ex-wife of former Governor Eric Greitens, who is now running for Roy Blunt's Senate seat since Blunt is retiring, did you get an initial whoa, this changes everything? Or did you have let's wait and see what he has to say?
It was very much the latter. Let's not necessarily let's wait and see what he has to say. Let's wait and see what's going on, because there's so much stuff with Greitens always. It's always one shoe, then another, and then probably a third and a fourth shoe drop. You just never know.
So we're going to play some clips from the Eric Greitens interview with Mark Cox. And a reminder that if you want to hear it in the entirety, he did 2 segments with Mark Cox this morning. Then you can subscribe or just go find the Mark Cox Morning Show podcast and listen to it in its entirety. But we're going to pick and choose some clips here. And this is specifically about the Sheena accusations. Let's listen in here.
This situation with your ex-wife, Sheena. I've got the affidavit here in front of me. I've been reading through it this morning. Some pretty strong allegations here. Now, I know this is a custody case.
Allegations, Mark. They're completely false allegations. And let's also point out, what a coincidence. What a coincidence that on the very week when William Tisby pleads guilty, on the very week when we're going to be fully exonerated and everyone is going to see this entire criminal conspiracy that Soros funded come crashing down, on that very week, they release another series of terrible false allegations. And it's not just me saying that they're false, Mark. Anyone with any common sense knows that they're false. And I'll tell you what we know now. Here's what we know now. Last week, while I was on spring break with my boys for 8 days, and we were having a great time, and we were hiking and climbing and biking and playing, while that was happening, that document was being produced, notarized, and distributed to the press in Washington, D.C. We also now know, and the story should come out, I hope, in the next 24 to 48 hours, exactly who the political operatives were who were working on that story, and exactly who the political operatives were who it was handed to.
So the first thing that I'll say here after hearing that, and I am listening to this for the first time with you, so these are just my honest first blush reactions to this. He's first and foremost saying that the allegations are not true. So that needs to be the first thing that you hear from the Greitens camp. Of course, we can read the allegations. They are horrific allegations. He's saying that they're terrible. If it were to be true, he's acknowledging that this is a horrific thing to be accused of. But he's saying that he's innocent of it. But then the shift immediately pivots to who's saying these things and why are they saying them. It's not as much about defending himself from the allegations. The shift is back to politics and not so much about the father of some children and his abuse towards them and his abuse towards his ex-wife, which we remember there was a divorce child custody battle going on right now, which is the predication of this entire conversation and these court documents in existence. Your thoughts before I play the next clip?
Well, when he first came out, right after, we read this live. I think this broke while we were on this story from Gretton's ex-wife. And then he came out pretty quickly and said, yeah, this is a political hit job. Well, my reaction was, well, how is it a political? Who's making it political? And then all of a sudden you see today, the investigator in the Greitens case pleads guilty to evidence tampering on the eve of the trial. Now there is a political element to it. So the plot thickens.
Except for the fact that if you create a scenario that can be used against you on the political field, I'm one who thinks don't get distracted by the weapons being used in war if you handed them the weapons to use against you.
All true.
So let's listen to more here from the interview that Mark Cox did this morning on the Mark Cox Morning Show with Eric Greitens in studio.
Oh, you pointed out a minute ago in the break, and I think it's worth mentioning that the custody issue has already been settled. All this is an attempt to move the case to Texas.
Well, here's the fact. Yes, I mean, look, they've lost two court cases already. Okay. All right. And here's just the very basic, simple facts. The custody plan that we have was already set up 2 years ago. Okay. We've been following it since we were divorced in May of 2020. It's already been set up. These allegations, which are demonstrably and provably false, are supposedly about things that they're alleging happened before this was set up. So if any of that were remotely true, why would my ex-wife and the mediator and the court have all agreed actually the best thing for those boys is to spend the majority of their free time with their dad? It doesn't make any sense. And when someone thinks about it for about 30 seconds, they realize, yeah, that absolutely has to be wrong.
So let's listen to what Greitens said about the allegations being false and why.
I think the important thing here is that the impact, I mean, whether it was intentional or not, as you're suggesting, and we'll find out when this story comes out, the damage is real. I mean, I'm reading comments here from very conservative women that I know who in the past have supported you, who've now said they won't anymore because of these allegations. Whether you deny them or not, this has done some real damage,
it's
right?
It's not me denying them.
Right.
They're provably false. And,
Okay.
I'll tell you why. We'll talk about it right now. And I'd ask anyone, use your own judgment. Here's why. We're co-parents. We have a joint custody plan. In that plan, the boys spend the majority of their free time with me. They're with me all summer. They're with me all Thanksgiving break. They're with me all spring break. They're with me every holiday weekend, Memorial Day weekend, Labor Day weekend, Columbus Day, President's Day, every holiday weekend. That's in addition to the time that I spend with them in Texas on weekends and school days.
Okay.
Now, ask yourself and ask all of your listeners, use your own judgment. If any of this were remotely true, if there was even a shred of truth to it, would my ex-wife and the mediator and the court all have decided that the best thing for those boys, for my beautiful boys, is to spend the majority of their free time with their dad? It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And the beautiful thing is that once people look at this with even, and they hear the logic behind it, they recognize this makes no sense. And then you put that together with the fact that it came out on this week, that it was literally released on the Monday, that the very week that Tisby is going to plead guilty, and we didn't know he was going to plead guilty on Monday, but we knew that he was going to trial this week.
Right.
On the very week that he's going to plead guilty, they're going to come on that week and release another series of absolutely vicious false accusations and allegations. But here's the very good news. Here's the extraordinarily good news. A lot of times it takes a long time to see through leftist lies. Okay, it took years to unravel the Trump-Russia collusion hoax. It took years to unravel Hillary Clinton spying on the Trump campaign, years to unravel their attacks on General Flynn, months to unravel their false stories, even about things like President Trump in Lafayette Square. It took months, weeks to unravel what was really behind the January 6th. Okay,
Right.
Taken over a year to expose the Hunter Biden laptop story. Okay, in this case, We've got them within 72 to 96 hours. And what you're going to see coming out is, again, what I said, all the details. Number one, this document, while I was on spring break with my boys, was written, produced, notarized, and given to the press in Washington, D.C. And you're going to see the names of the political operatives who worked to get it out and exactly why. And in this case, it was the Rhino.
What do you think?
Well, he's making allegations there that he says he's going to produce the facts about. So I think I'm looking
But hold on a
forward to
second.
seeing
Facts about what?
Political hit job.
Not about the allegations.
Not really. No.
Do you understand? I'm not asking
yeah.
you, but like to the listener, to you listening right now in the car, the difference between defending yourself from the allegations, and I will continue to reiterate that these are court documents in a child custody hearing. All sorts of things get said when this type of disagreement is being litigated or in the court system. So I want to understand the context of where this document came from. It's a sworn document, but it is in a child custody battle. There is somebody who has substantial to gain by these beliefs being made to be true or being made to be known. I don't get to vote for Eric Greitens. So whether it's the primary or the general, I hope to God that the Missouri Senate seat stays red because there's no room for error in this November election. But when I hear what is going on in this circumstance, I am way less concerned with Eric Greitens' political career than I am with him as a father and as an ex-husband and his reputation there, because that means more to me. How he's able to honor those commitments does, in my eyes and in my judgment, apply to how he's going to handle his commitments to represent Missourians. So if I wish I was hearing him more, and I'm going to go back and listen to the whole thing on the Mark Cox Morning Show podcast, which is where you can hear it as well. You can also just get on the Odyssey app and rewind to this morning. About 8:10 a.m. is when it starts. He's spending a lot of time talking about the politics of this. And to me, that seems like that's his main focus.
Well, I think the thing that he did say in there, and I don't know which clip it was, maybe it was the last one you played there, regarding the actual allegations from his ex-wife, is that if he's not as bad as those allegations are saying, otherwise he wouldn't be spending so much time with his boys now. I think that's a valid point to be made.
If he was a threat to his boys,
if he was, as these documents are claiming that he is that dangerous, if he were actually that dangerous, why would he be spending, in his words, the majority of the time with his boys now? So that does address those allegations. But the political stuff is obviously where the rubber meets the road here, because that's what affects all of us. That's why this is newsworthy. That's why we're talking about it. So if he's going to produce evidence that this is, in his word, rhinos, which would be Republicans. So this isn't, he said left-wing lies, and then he said it's also coming from rhinos.
In Washington, D.C.
In Washington, D.C. Those are two different things. So if it's actually coming from Republicans, then it's not left-wing lies, first of all. And he's got to produce and say, here's who's doing this, which we'll be watching.
Speaking of the Senate and how valuable the Senate is right now, that 50-50 split right down central will be voting for or against Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, which is why these seats matter so much. There is zero room for error in the Senate. All that in mind, you can go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel right now. We haven't talked about this as much today because we went to the president and that long press conference and everything. So I need to push you all to go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel right now and vote in that live chat poll. Will any Senate Republicans vote in favor of Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson? Go tell us what you think. We got about 71 votes there. We're trying to get to about 150 a day. So if you haven't yet, would you please? We would love it. You can comment as well if you think yes, which ones are going to vote that way. When we come back, Mark Cox from the Mark Cox Morning Show asks Eric Greitens more about those rhinos, and he brings up another name, Todd Akin. You're going to hear that when we come back in just a minute. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I don't think you're right for him. Look at what it might have been. Took a bus to Chinatown. I'll be standing on Canal.
History looks back on times like this. Where do you stand? 97.1 FM Talk is here to spotlight what would otherwise be left in the dark. Right here, right now. 97.1 FM Talk.
You are looking for the loving big sister realtor, right, to sell your house in Illinois. And I found her. It's Jen Teskey, and she's wonderful. And she participates in the live chat on the Annie Frey Show, YouTube here from time to time. She's such a wonderful person and an asset when it comes to selling your home, whether you know that you want to sell and you haven't quite signed up with someone yet, or if you even want to just kind of start the conversation. We're thinking about it, not really sure what we could get for our house. You want to start maybe checking what the possibilities are for you. Jen Teskey with Relax Alliance is your solution. Like I said, she's super kind, but she does kind of have that big sister thing about her. She's going to guide you, and she's going to tell you what you need to hear, not just what you want to hear, to make sure that your house is going to sell for top dollar, that you are going to sell it fast as well. I'm going to give you a phone number here that you can call, 618-541-1010. You can text this number as well, 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010. She has 15 years of experience helping families with selling and buying of homes, and she's extremely familiar with the Illinois area. Her specialties being Edwardsville, Glen Carbon, Maryville, Troy, and Collinsville, those areas out there. She is the trusted name when it comes to selling homes in Illinois. She can sell yours as well. 618-541-1010.
Find podcasts for your passions on Odyssey.
Like the documentary series Love Thy Neighbor about the 1991 Crown Heights riots.
It was an accident which other people used as an excuse to murder one member of our community.
Or The 11th.
Bringing you true, unexpected stories.
And experience the new podcast movie thriller Ghostwriter.
Starring Kate Mara and Adam Scott.
Maybe it's not a whodunit. If we know who the killer is all along, the real mystery is why.
Find all the podcasts that matter to you in a universe of audio.
Odyssey.
Nobody wants to miss the important things in life, and if it's because of bad vision, you don't have to. Mark Cox here from my friends at Brenton Vision. They can help you out. That's why I want you to take 2 minutes today to call my friends at Brenton at 314-375-2020 or go online to BrentonVision.com. Your eyes are as unique as your fingerprint. Since Brenton Vision is the only place in Missouri offering all 7 forms of modern vision correction, they can create a customized treatment plan just for your vision. They helped my wife out. She chose the lens replacement therapy and now sees better than ever, and she loves it. You can have that same experience with Brenton Vision. They accept flex plans and medical spending plans as well at Brenton. So don't let that money expire or go to waste. See your best. Do what we did. Call Brenton Vision at 314-375-2020 or schedule online right now at BrentonVision.com.
If your business has accounting problems, you probably have tax problems. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Running a small business is tough, and it's no surprise that companies that don't keep good books often run into tax issues. If you don't fix your accounting problems, you could be doomed to land in the same tax pitfalls every year. Call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I can help you get out of tax trouble and stay out. If your small business doesn't have a CPA or accountant, I can help you find one. And if you already have one, I work closely with them to resolve your tax problems quickly. Make no mistake, if the numbers don't add up, the IRS will catch it. Fix your accounting and tax problems before they snowball with help from the Lance Drury Law Firm. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. That's ZipRecruiter.com/hire. ZipRecruiter.com/hire.
Odyssey celebrates Women's History Month.
Amelia Earhart broke boundaries in the sky as the first female aviator to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean. She was one of the first aviators to promote commercial air travel, wrote best-selling books, and helped form the 99s, an organization for female pilots. In 1937, she shockingly disappeared on her quest to circumnavigate the globe.
Odyssey, celebrating remarkable women. For more, check out our exclusive station, She Sings, on the Odyssey app.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Sitting there giving me looks that make my mouth water. So I started walking her way. She belonged to Batman Jose. And I knew, yes I knew I should leave when I heard her say, hey,
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're very grateful that you're here. Happy Thursday. Guess what? That means it's Friday tomorrow. That's always good news, right? Does a Wednesday day off kind of like screw up that weekend vibe?
No, it doesn't. Weekend still looks pretty good from where I'm sitting.
Still happy to be there. Let's real quick here wrap up these clips that we have from the Mark Cox morning show right here on 97.1, Eric Greitens interview. Eric Greitens came to the 97.1 studio to talk with Mark Cox about some of these allegations that have been levied against him and to speak his mind. And I haven't seen him speaking out on this issue I haven't come across him really being out in the open with it too terribly much since they came out, but he did choose to come in to speak with Mark Cox today. So I highly encourage you, if you want to hear the whole thing exactly in its full context, you need to go to the Mark Cox Morning Show podcast. Listen to Eric Greitens talking about the rhinos.
So I brought this up a minute ago. I have heard from a number of people on social media and conservative women who this has raised some alarms for, and they're waiting for your explanation of it, which is
here.
why we wanted you to come on and talk about it this morning. But I have to go back to the fact that it took a long time for this information to come out about the Tissaby case, for example.
Right.
You stepped away from the governor's office at the time because you said you needed to do what was in the best interest of your family.
Right.
I'm not surprised when people running against you for the Senate nomination are calling for you to drop out over this, because that's in their best interest if you drop out. I get that. But at the end of the day, one of the concerns they've raised is if you're the candidate in November and you're what they consider to be damaged goods because of what happened when you were governor, the concern then becomes, do Republicans risk losing that seat if you stay in the race with this hanging over your head?
You're exactly right. That is the rhino lie. What you stated is exactly the rhino lie. And the reason why we know it's a rhino lie is because the math tells us so. Here are the facts. Not only are we winning in every poll in the Republican primary, but in fact, the honest poll that was done in the general election not only showed me winning the general election by 13 points, but in fact, I'm the strongest Republican candidate. We were beating the Democrats by a bigger margin than all of our opponents. That is what the math shows. So you're exactly right. Look, the rhinos can't beat me on the issues. They can't beat me on the issues. They know, and they've seen I'm the only one who stood up and defended the president on election integrity, went down to Maricopa County twice. I'm the only one who's been down to the Mexican side of the border to expose Joe Biden's policies. I'm the only one who's standing up and defending the truth about what happened on January 6th. On all of these issues and others, they refuse to go toe-to-toe with me on the policy. So what do? They lie. And they use the media because they know that a gullible media will continue to promote these lies. And just like the Soros-funded attack had this giant wave of lies, and for years, these lies were repeated and debated and discussed again and again and again. And I said, look, this is a criminal witch hunt. Finally, now we know the truth. And again, here's the good news in this case. That took 4 years. It took 4 years for the Soros-funded prosecution team to finally plead guilty. And again, in all of these other cases, the Trump-Russia collusion hoax, Michael Flynn, Hillary Clinton spying on President Trump, took years to be exposed. Here, not only are these obviously and provably false from anybody who even thinks about it for 30 seconds, but what's also clear is that we've caught them. We've caught them, and they know right now that we've caught them, that we know that they did this in Washington, D.C., and we know the political operatives who work to do this.
So you have Eric Greitens on with Mark Cox, the Mark Cox Morning Show this morning, and answering the question from Mark about the rhinos who he starts off, he keeps talking about conservative women, which I find to be very interesting as a conservative woman myself, but yet not a Missouri voter. The baggage that this candidate has is real, and it's something he needs to answer to. He seems to feel pretty confident about his position in the race still.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mixed bag with him always. It always is, and that's what's tough, is that some of the things he's saying are true. He is one of the only candidates who's focused on certain issues like going down to Maricopa County, going to the border. That's probably because he spends so much time in Texas. It's easier to go to the border. But there are things that he is highlighting that he has made the central part of his campaign. Now, he is also, though, pointing out polls that I don't know that I've ever seen, because I've not seen any poll. And in fact, the most accurate polls that I follow who have done any polling on the Missouri Senate race at all have shown that he actually is the weakest candidate in the general. And so he's saying the opposite of that. I would love to see what poll that is, because I have never come across that.
I always look at these instances as well and think this is how the Republican Party is attacking the Republican candidate. What is the Democratic Party going to do with, if the Republicans in Washington, D.C., i.e. the rhinos, if the rhinos are trying to take him down with this information and they think it's big enough that they can, if he is to win the primary, what are the Democrats going to do with it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're going to I hesitate to say, because again, we're Illinois voters, so we don't vote in Missouri. But you'd have to think that Op Research would prefer to have somebody with this kind of stuff ready to go. That it's going to be, if he is the nominee, you will not stop hearing about this until November. That's the only thing you will hear about Eric Greitens.
Well, Mark talked to him about those poll numbers and made a pretty good distinction about the specific numbers that Eric Greitens was speaking on.
But the math you're talking about was before this. Do you think this changes the equation? Are you going to do internal polling to figure out if this has an impact?
I guarantee you, Mark, when people know the truth about this, our poll numbers rise. I guarantee you, when people know the truth about this, our poll numbers rise, because here's the fact. This shows how disgusting and desperate the rhinos are. When people know the political operatives behind this by name, when they know that they came after Eric Greitens because I was the first person in the country to say that when I'm in the United States Senate, I'm voting against Mitch McConnell, I guarantee you our support from patriots around the state of Missouri rises, because they are sick of it. They're sick of this game where they watch all of these false accusations be poured on every true America First leader. They're sick of watching rhinos stab the American people in the back. They're ready for real strong leadership, and they are on to the game that is played, where accusations go out, which are in this case obviously and provably false, and the mainstream media runs with them. And the fact is, people recognize not only are these false, but I guarantee you, as the truth comes out about who these political operatives are, everyone is going to see that, yes, the reason why they came after Greitens is because he's winning in every poll, and he is a threat, not just to the left and to the mainstream media, but a true threat to the rhino establishment.
Wow. So nothing in here changes your trajectory in this race. No consideration of...
What happens here is that when the truth about this comes out, this is a done deal. Everybody around the state of Missouri is going to say, oh my God, those disgusting rhinos. That's what they did. That's what they did. They're going to mess with his kids. Those disgusting rhinos are going to mess with his kids to put out obviously provably false allegations, and those political operatives are going to do it. Done deal. Done deal. We are winning this race. We're going to win the primary. We're going to win the general election. And then when I am in the United States Senate, we are taking it to the rhinos. It's time for us to get serious. It's time for us to take this country back.
So Eric Greitens believes he has to beat the Republicans before he can beat the Democrats and go to the Senate. That's essentially, and he's very confident in his ability to do that. There seems to me there is no daylight between the allegations that are out there and his confidence that in his assertion that the truth will be exposed.
Yeah, what he's saying is that after whatever he's going to come out with comes out, that he's going to go up in the polls. That's something a politician says, but he's also, the way a politician talks, using words very, very carefully. Is he actually tying some of these operatives, in his words, to his opponent's campaigns in the GOP or not? You can't quite tell what he's saying there, but one implies a lot more than the other.
I think he's accusing Mitch McConnell.
If that's the case, that's a different thing. If he's accusing other Senate candidates that are running against him of being tied to this,
I don't think that's it. I think that he is making the case that the leader of the Republican Party, specifically in the Senate, doesn't want him to go there. And my question is, like, would you be surprised to see that the Republican Party would be working really hard in a primary to back one candidate or the other? I mean, I know Illinois politics, like state politics, that happens on a state level in a JV kind of way, just because the names aren't as big and the influence. If you're in the position of power, you can make certain things happen a lot better than on a national stage. But like, Mitch McConnell is a stone cold killer. Like, that dude stood up to the entire country and said, we're not going to hear Merrick Garland. And it's the smartest political move that I think he's made in his career. It truly did, in my opinion, give us Donald Trump. And Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump are on as far on the opposite side of that spectrum as you can possibly be. Politics is messy, strange bedfellows all of the time. But I think that the assertion here is that the establishment GOP doesn't want Greitens, and that's why Missourians do.
And what's interesting, since you brought up Trump and being opposite sides of that spectrum with McConnell and Trump, is that you'd think with Greitens have painting himself very much in the corner of Trump and not McConnell. I'm not McConnell. I'm in the Trump corner. Trump still hasn't endorsed Greitens, though. So that's weird.
Did you see Trump's statement on Billy Long?
I heard some background stuff.
He put a statement out and I don't even know what it was about. The statement was literally ending, this is not an endorsement. But he's like, hey, check out this guy, Billy Long. That's kind of cool. That's like the summation of it.
I had heard that they had talked.
Yeah.
But
you're right. He hasn't. Let's play one more clip here before we wrap this up here. And we've got Trisha standing in here because Ryan has a very important question to ask. Trisha might have the answer to it. The Todd Aiken name got brought up, and that's not really a good thing when it comes to Missouri Senate seat.
I have to ask. I lived through, and I'm sure you witnessed too, what happened with the Todd Aiken story. I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was ever true. I thought it was just a simple misstatement on his part. But his opponent, Claire McCaskill, in that case, used it to beat him over the head with. True or not, during the election, and she beat him. You're not worried about that?
We're not. Look, here's the facts. Again, the polls are showing us winning the general election, A. And number two, right now, because of your courage, because of the courage of other conservatives who've been willing to follow the truth, people now know that the mainstream media lies. People now know that the mainstream media won't cover what happened on January 6th. The mainstream media won't cover election integrity. They watch. Look at what just happened with Hunter Biden's laptop. The mainstream media worked to suppress a story that they knew and polls show would have changed the election. And they worked with big tech to do that. And they had Republicans and Democrats come out and call it Russian disinformation. The media and both political parties engaged in a disinformation campaign to get Joe Biden into office. What does that mean? It means that your listeners are smart. It means that people know that the mainstream media is lying. And when they see, not only are these obviously and provably false, which everybody is starting to see already, but when they see that the political operatives who are behind this, they're going to recognize this is another disgusting, cowardly, rhino dirty trick. And what they're also going to say is that what Winston Churchill said, what Teddy Roosevelt said, Ulysses S. Grant said something like this. if you really fight for something, if you really stand for something, you're going to have enemies. And Mark, I'm proud of the fact that I have all the right enemies. I'm proud of the fact that the left comes after me.
So that's the last clip we're going to play from the Mark Cox Morning Show interview with Eric Greitens, which you can hear fully in context in its entirety on the Mark Cox Morning Show podcast. Please, please, please go listen to the whole thing if this is of interest to you, because it is a very important interview. And you're not really hearing Eric Greitens speak on this issue as much as he spoke this morning with Mark Cox. He chose to go to Mark's show, which was awesome for Mark to land that interview. A couple of things he said in that last segment. And the question was, I don't even know what the question was, because honestly, Mark didn't get to ask the question. The implication was there. Todd Aiken, Greitens cut him off right away and said the analogy is completely different. But here are the things that he said. I wrote these down as he was saying in response to the Todd Aiken question. January 6th, election integrity, lying mainstream media, Hunter's laptop, big tech. Eric Greitens has a lane here. And I think that his lane is pretty solid. I think that the people who are with Eric Greitens are probably still going to be with Eric Greitens. Is that enough people to win a primary? It might be. In a crowded primary field, that might be enough people. I don't know that it's enough to win a general, which is where the Todd Aiken story comes in. Todd Aiken made a statement that it was political suicide for him to make the statement he made about legitimate rape and whether or not it could cause an abortion, or cause a pregnancy that would result in abortion. The other thing that I hear Greitens saying here about exposing the truth is he's saying everybody knows. Everybody doesn't know if you feel like you need to come out and remind people of that. If everybody knows, then you don't need to push the issue so much. Here's where I am on this issue. And I am not going to endorse anybody in the Missouri Senate race. Missourians, you have a lot of fantastic options, all of which would represent my political interests in Washington, D.C. better than Tammy Duckworth and Dick Durbin. So you have to understand where I'm coming from on this issue. I won't speak for you, Ryan, but we have the same senators and whew.
You can speak for me.
Yeah, it's the same seas. But you have an integrity issue here. I think that Missourians do not conflate the two things, the Tisby stuff, the local stuff that went after Greitens about the money and the funding and all that stuff that has been proven false. That's a separate issue to the integrity issues and the character issues that he has. And he's working very hard to conflate the two. I hope and pray that what Eric Greitens is saying about the false allegations, I hope they're false, because I want his children to be spared from this. I don't want those, if those allegations are true, I think the truth does need to be out there, need to be exposed. But there is an integrity issue at question here, and it's based on things that don't have to do with his politics. His politics and my politics might still align. I mean, I am not going to go issue by issue right now. There are things that he would vote for in the Senate that would be absolutely reflective of what I would like to see a senator vote for in the Senate. That's a separate issue than an integrity issue. And I think that Mark Cox's question repeatedly about how conservative women feel about this. I am a conservative woman. And in a primary, you have options. And I think that people out there are looking at this candidate and they see things that they don't like about the specific candidate. That doesn't mean that he wasn't falsely or wrongfully accused about other things and that those things are being exposed as being lies and political attacks. But like I said earlier, some of the weapons that are being used to take him down on the battlefield right now, he put in the arsenal of the people who are trying to take him down by other decisions that he's made in his life. And I think that's a political liability.
Yeah, some and some not. And that's what is always tough with Greitens, is that you're, as a conservative especially, and somebody who agrees with a lot of his positions, you're constantly having to cut between bone and marrow to figure out what's what. And it gets tiring. And that's my whole conclusion.
And a great question that was asked here on the live chat from a listener was, do you, if he wins the general, do you vote for somebody who has, an integrity character issue, So you have a moral question there, or do you vote for somebody else who's going to represent you in a way that you don't think is morally comparative to your values?
It's a good question.
That's why you have a primary. And if you have a compelling thought on that issue, you better be active in the primary, not just showing up on primary day, but advocating for who you want to see elected, especially if that's Eric Greitens. Good job, Mark Cox. Thanks for letting us use some of your sound. We'll be right back.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Compared to what we've got today, Madeleine Albright was a shining star of diplomacy who understood the threats to the world. We might not be in the mess we're in if we had that kind of a Democrat in office.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
Stewart's American Mortgage, the bagel loan guy, Stewie, is super simple to get a hold of because the number I'm going to give to you here in a minute, you can text him, and it's his cell phone. Stewie is the guy you work with when you go to Stewart's American Mortgage and you go ahead and get one of those bagel loans. That's a refinance on your mortgage where, because it's the bagel loan and a bagel looks like a zero, you're going to pay zero in fees that other lenders out there are going to charge you for. It's going to save you a ton of money. If you're purchasing a home, also, you can go to Stewart's American Mortgage and use the bagel loan for your mortgage there. He can close in 14 days. That's super fast. So imagine this. You're saving money on the purchase because you don't have to pay potentially thousands of dollars in fees that everybody else is going to charge you for. That's money back in your pocket. Plus a really quick close. Now, all of a sudden, you've become the most competitive buyer out there. That's going to help you get that house that you want. Stewie runs the Stewart's American Mortgage. You work with him. It is a great place to go where you can trust Stewie and the guidance that he's going to give you. Your circumstances, he's going to consider them and give you great advice. He's done that for me as well. Here's the number to call or text to get to Bagel Loan, 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440, and MLS number 226715.
The Fed has raised rates.
But there's still time to lock in Golden Oak Lending's low 2.875% rate.
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak. With home values at all-time highs and our low rates, you can pull more cash out of your home.
Call 314-567-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Lending, join my blues.
NMLS 114937, 2.875% fixed, 3.976% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow into the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional, lifetime warranty I get, and you get an extra double strength glass on their replacement windows that's not common. So you're getting a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors if you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home. They've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit. The preferred window of the St. Louis Blues, 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 800-730-8405 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check. As easy as, that's 800-730-8405.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458, 800-481-1458, or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
Del Walmsley here. The first thing you're going to have to learn is until you stop expecting the politicians or anyone else to change your life isn't going to change. The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
You could be on your way to a better lifestyle and experience the life of your dreams. Tune in to the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. Weeknights at 7, right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
You have the power to transform the lives of children battling critical illness right here in St. Louis. Join us for the Centene Walk for Wishes, presented by Stiefel and Spectrum on April 9th in Forest Park. Register today at walkforwishesstl.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 53 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Up-to-the-minute traffic reports, so you don't have to keep looking at your phone. Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Quite a packed show today. A good one to podcast, and a reminder that Eric Greitens' interview that we listened to here, bits and pieces of in its entirety, you can find on the Mark Cox Morning Show podcast, and go listen to Eric Greitens' 2 segments in studio with Mark Cox this morning. Anything else you want to add to that before we move on to less important things?
Where's my candy? That's what I need to know. That I've been holding on to this all day. I opened the drawer at 11 o'clock. All my candy's gone. My whole drawer's empty. So clearly you guys did something funny.
Well,
and I had to just sit here and wait to ask you because of all this important
Eric
news.
Greitens took it.
Well, I'm not voting for Greitens then. That does it. Up until now, I was Greitens.
It's a great candy caper. I don't know. Hannah, do you know where it is?
No.
I love her.
Then why is Trisha in here? Why is she even here?
I don't know.
If she doesn't know.
I wanted
her things.
I wanted her to see your meltdown.
Yeah. Well, the problem is not that you took it. Okay.
I
It's
didn't
a funny.
take
It's the thing.
We did
the
not take
problem
it.
is I didn't get to ask you until 5 hours after I found that it was gone.
You've been stewing on this?
I want some candy. I got my fix at about 11:30.
Do you see how hangry he is about this?
Yeah, I wasn't aware that this was a situation.
Do you know
should have
what's
brought it
in
up
there?
Earlier.
Do you guys know what's in there?
It's probably
And what?
expired
Apparently
junk
nothing.
food if it's your stash, but
Did you look? Did you look in the bags?
no. What
See?
bags?
These are trick questions because if you looked in the bags, then I know you have them.
No, I didn't.
Nobody
said Hannah?
anything.
Well, then who took it's a big funny thing. Brad's not here today, so is it Brad? Did he know I'm not going to be here tomorrow, so I'm going to do this?
Wiggins America.
I know he did. He
took your
robbed
segment?
everything.
Something else.
He did the floppy arms dance at the end of Wiggins America yesterday.
Are you kidding me?
And had a backwards hat on.
Maybe better than you.
Nobody wears a backwards hat better than me. And that floppy arms dance is mine.
You should see him do it.
No, I'll watch it, but there's no way it's better than me.
You're gonna cave.
Yeah.
You're gonna go back and watch it.
Yeah.
He did a segment about milk. He wore his hat backwards, and he did the floppy arms dance.
I didn't realize you were gone. Actually,
You left such a big hole.
I also
Brian.
wanted to talk about how you offered me help, and then I found out you took the day off.
Yeah, we did talk about that on air.
Wait,
Yeah.
what did I do?
You were like, hey, if you need help with anything, like let me or Trisha know, and I'll help you out. And
the
then you
board
took
yesterday.
the day off.
Well, yesterday you were training. Today was your big day, and I knew I'd be here
What
today.
kind of help did you provide her?
I walked in once, and I was like, oh, man, that sounds echoey. And then she fixed it. It was when she started the Biden thing.
All right, I think we've solved everything
No,
here. Good
we
show.
haven't.
Good show, guys.
So I need to go into Brad's office and just root
No,
through
that's
his
my
stuff.
office.
So I need to go into your office and root through your stuff.
There are rules against going through people's offices.
Yeah, nobody does that.
And we do not break those rules.
Is it because of the gender gap? Because I understand that nobody knows what a woman is. Like
That's
I can't
just
go
not
through your
even
stuff.
segue.
No?
You tried real hard.
Nonsensical.
Swing and a miss. He's making no sense. He hasn't had his candy.
No, it's right.
What kind of candy do you have in there?
I got a bunch of those old yogurt covered Skittles.
Yuck.
Ew.
Yogurt
They don't
covered.
even make them anymore.
Do you know why?
They did not sell well.
But you bought them all?
I bought all of them because they were on sale.
All right, good show, guys. Appreciate you being here, even you, Wiggins. Be back
When
tomorrow.
Richard Irvin decided to take on Pritzker for governor, he wasn't following a whim. He was answering a long familiar call to duty. Irvin joined the Army out of high school, served in Desert Storm, decorated for bravery, surviving a brush with death in a dangerous war zone. Richard dedicated his life to service because he loves his country and knows how fragile freedom and security are. As a prosecutor, Irvin put thugs behind bars, drug dealers, gangbangers, 1,000 convictions, hired more cops, and cleaned up crime as mayor, balanced budgets, passed property tax relief. When riotous looters came to town, Irvin shut them down. He knows we'll lose the country he fought for if the radical woke mob takes control. Irvin says all lives matter, that schools shouldn't teach kids to be ashamed of their color or country, that we'll take our state back if we have strong, service-minded leadership. And that's Richard Irvin, our next governor, paid for by Irvin for Illinois.
Just want to remind you, it's 2:57 right now. Stay tuned to the Mark Reardon Show because he's going to take questions on this Greitens stuff. You can donate your car to Goodwill and get 2022 Cardinal tickets at mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Cardinals. If you're looking to get your HVAC system fixed, you need to go to Air Comfort Service. These are wonderful people. Corey Malone is the best of the best, and he has established such a wonderful culture at Air Comfort Service, partnered with 97.1 for years and years and years and years. It's one big happy family that you're a part of, and then Air Comfort Service is a part of, which is why I'm glad to be able to connect you. If you need maintenance done to your HVAC system, I've had them come out and had to look at mine a couple years ago because it was not cooling the house properly, and they gave us options on how to solve our problems, whether it was to repair it or to replace it. And we chose to replace it because the thing was over 20 years old. I trust Air Comfort Service in my home, and I know that you can as well. Reach out to Air Comfort Service on the phone by calling 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091, online at aircomfortservice.com.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. When it comes to your tax issues, why would you trust some faceless national company that uses cartoons in its ads to protect you? Tax problems are not funny and should not be treated lightly. If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need a lawyer